Okay, I'm live. I'm in the show, but I don't. Wait a minute. What is going on here? I don't know where Logan's at. Logan sent me a link. He's not here. I had. There he is. Sup?
Hey, okay.
You got it.
We're troubleshooting.
You got it. You got it.
This is the first time.
Yeah,
Never
no,
used
man. You got it.
StreamYard before. So
Well, you figured it out. You figured it out quick.
we'll see. I'm hearing myself double. How do I get myself out of my mic or headphones? I mean,
That's a good question.
yeah.
Maybe
Like,
disconnect them and go out and come back in.
is that God? Is that it? That's a little
Well, I don't
annoying.
know because I've never run into that. I've never heard myself. Oh, wait. Do you have a
I
Do
don't have
you
any page open.
you don't have any your a YouTube page open?
No,
Okay, I
it's
don't either.
just the StreamYard.
I would say unplug your headphones, plug them back in,
Yeah.
and see what happens there. Then drop out. If not, come back in. Well, now you're muted. You're muted. You're you're muted. Muted.
Do you hear?
Mu-
Do you
There you
hear
are.
me now?
Now I hear you. Yeah.
I'm still in my mic or headphones.
All right. Try going out the entire way.
Really? All
Yeah,
right.
I'll still be here. Like the session will still be live. Go out
Okay.
and come back in because I think that happened to you last time.
This yeah, something similar did. Let's see.
They just kept fucking me around and fucking me around. Look at me, I'm dead. 6 weeks ago, did I look like this, Mom? Yeah, I did. If you would have really taken the time to listen. Woohoo! Anyway, I don't know if we're on Logan's channel for what. If we're just hanging kind of out in cyberspace, but I think he's going to come back in. And we'll see if come up with. How
Okay.
about now?
It's not I still hear myself, but it's not as bad, so we'll roll with it. But as you can see, guess what? I have 0 watchers, so it doesn't fucking
Well, nobody knew this was happening, and
No.
even if they did, I only had like 5 or 6. I had 7 at one point, and
Okay.
we're Serge and I were talking.
So it was you and
I
Surge for a little bit?
Yeah, actually, Serge and I were on for almost 2 hours. The main reason, like things that were getting a little touchy with me, was because I'm like, well, I figured you might be 30 minutes, 40 minutes late, and that's
Yeah, I'm
fine.
sorry.
But no, dude, it's cool. You don't have to hang out with me. That's up to you. I mean, but the problem was that I knew Serge was going to be around 11. He was going to be looking at bulb because
Yeah.
he just got back. He just drove back from Vermont earlier today, so he was pretty tired. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I dropped
Nice.
my phone. Give me a sec. Oh, here it is. Where did you get back from?
Vermont.
Oh,
He went up. He took his wife and his kid up to Killington,
okay.
right in the ski area, ski country. Not to ski, but just to hang out and go hiking and stuff like that. His kid's only 2 though, so he's like, I'm kind of limited in how much hiking I can do because
Yeah.
he's too big. He's too big. He's too big to be in a carrier now, like a on my back or on my wife's back or on our chest or something like that. But he's too small to actually put in any kind of real legwork for any period of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's like a
he went
mile,
up. I
maybe.
think his parents were staying up there. I think he's gone up there regularly for a while. So when we convened, we talked about his trip and you know, um, just we got into a little bit of politics with Roger Waters and his whole trip with seemingly talking like he's more supporting Putin than he is
Really?
Ukraine. Yeah. Yeah,
I did not
he's
realize that.
well
Shit.
he's claiming that he's on a hit list for the Ukrainian government.
When did
Uh,
he claim that? Was that on in a concert or?
no, it was it's either Rolling Stone or else Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got to know either way, pretty big audience there.
Hmm.
So, if you're going to talk that stuff, you better either show some receipts or a lot of people around the world are going to go, wait, you're supporting a fucking
Yeah.
government, a state terrorist organization that Putin's been running for 20 years?
Yeah, he has to know how people
Well, one would think, right?
at the
But
at the very least.
one would think, but Roger Waters was pretty outspoken back during the well, not back during, but
Uh-huh.
continues to be very outspoken about the Hezbollah and uh, Hamas and
Oh, yeah.
the Israeli state that he talks about the fact that the Israelis are the aggressors and that it's not their land, that the Palestinians were there first and got kicked out by the British who formed the nation state of Islam or Israel, excuse me,
So
not
he's
Islam.
pro-Palestine.
Yeah, he's pro Palestine. And a lot of people don't like that because there is, Yasser Arafat and the Hezbollah and they're not good people, but they were fucked over and the people that are in the
Oh, they
West
were,
Bank
yeah.
and the people that are in the West Bank are in a constant militarized zone. So they live in constant fear of abuse by the Israeli government and the Israeli, more importantly, not the Israeli government, but the Israeli military. I don't know enough about it under general circumstances. I know I used
Hmm.
to, but with the way I'm feeling, remembering things and is very hard to do. So, and then on top of that, I smoked a little bit of weed earlier,
Nice.
so I'm not gonna be like super clear headed about my whatever I thought was going on. Did you invite your buddy?
I did. So this is a dude, he's been in your chat maybe like once. He's been in like the heavy metallurgy chat a bit. His name's Chris.
Okay,
We've been
cool.
talking about trying to get something going. Me and him, we were like, lived pretty close to each other for the past couple of years. He recently moved to Chicago, and we've just been like, we gotta find some other way to talk about metal and still like be engaged in this whole streaming thing and just making videos and stuff. It seemed
Oh yeah.
like the best thing. So we've been trying to figure out a way to do it for the past probably a couple months, 2 months or so, and you know,
Well,
we'll see if he joins.
you know how
I sent him the link. He said he was up for watching potentially, but
well, tell him to jump on. Tell him
yeah, I did. Well,
tell him it's only going to be a few people. It's not like a big, large crowd.
exactly, and it's on
At
my
most,
channel for sure, which is
yeah,
like I have 20 subscribers, I think.
right. You're not. Well, not only that, I never think about who's watching. I don't really give a shit about that for the most part.
And
I
I know
really,
you do, and that's why I appreciate you. You're like,
yeah,
ah,
I don't get really wrapped up in. Oh
you
my
don't give a
God,
shit.
there's. Well, I mean, sure. Would I like to have 100 people watching? Would I like to have? But let me give you an example.
What's about the conversation though?
Well, let me give you a good example of this.
Okay.
So, I believe at the tops, the heavy metallurgy chat gets maybe about 100 people, maybe 95 to 105, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty sizable number of people on a Friday night. That's pretty admirable. My most chats have gotten up to like 35. I think that's the highest mine's gotten. Now,
Which is
Marty's
pretty good.
got 3,400 subs, I think, or something like that. I have 300, 312 or something. So obviously I'm not gonna have the reach he has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he often gets people on that have good sub bases. But my point being is that's 100 people. That's admirable. I often see a lot of chats with only 4 or 5 or 7 or 12 people in. So not a big deal, right?
He's right here.
Cool.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got Mr. Depeche Commode.
Yo,
Yo,
What's up, man?
Chris, what's up, dude? Holy shit.
what's going on?
Depeche Commode.
Commander Depeche Commode.
That's funny. That's funny as you brought that up because I was streaming with a buddy of mine earlier, and he brought up the fact that Depeche Mode's coming over in 23, and the tickets on the aftermarket ticket sales are like $300-$500 already.
I believe it. It'll probably be their last tour.
Well, that wouldn't
What were the
surprise me.
dates?
Well,
Yeah, that
because
wouldn't surprise
Andrew Fletcher just passed away, and
Oh, that's right.
they're just getting up there in age. I mean, those dudes, they've
Yeah.
got to be pushing 60, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
maybe
they're in
older
their
than
early
that.
60s. I think Gahan's like 60 or 61. But on top of that, they don't do stuff in a hurry. It's not their last album was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're not. I doubt they're gonna go out and rush right out if they don't have a new album coming, which I assume they might, and that's why they're doing this tour. Then if they're just touring, it may be another. You're right. It could be the end, or it might be years before they did another tour.
No,
And I don't-
they have a new album coming out this year.
Ah, okay. All right. That
Yeah.
makes sense then. That makes sense. What's up, Chris?
Yeah.
Jeff. What's up, buddy?
All right. I was watching your stream earlier, and you had Surge on. Well,
Yeah.
I've watched quite a few of your streams just after you've recorded them,
Uh-huh.
and I definitely like your deep dives. I mean,
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
any deep dive. So,
Cool.
but and then the Surge one I was watching when you guys were talking about cats, and I was like, okay, I can relate to this.
Yeah, we a girl that I dated that this is weird actually. This is a weird quick story.
What was the cat's situation?
Well, Serge has
I did not hear that.
Serge has 5 cats now. And when I knew him
Oh my
back
god.
when I knew him back, when I first met him back when he was in his
I got
late
3. So
he got 3, I have 1.
yeah.
Well, we have 2 in the house. One's my old man's, one mine, but that's because my health situation.
Mine to the other.
But Serge didn't have any when he was batching it with another dude, and he a girl that I was dating that we all Serge and I met through Porcupine Tree. You knew that story, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Like we met in the line of our first Porcupine Tree. My first, his second show down in 1990. Go ahead.
Yeah. I knew that you guys met through Porcupine Tree. I did not know it was like that, like a first show kind of thing.
Yeah, 1999, May 1999, I found out PT were playing what was essentially their first real tour of the U.S. They had done a showcase, which it turns out Serge had seen in New York, and they'd done like one other date, but this was like their first real tour of the U.S. And it was like opening for this prog band called Gong. I don't know if you guys know Gong.
Oh yeah, Gong.
Yes,
They're like that 70s, like
real trippy, spacey, space rock, weird band. So PT, that's where I met Steve and the rest of the guys in the band. And then later as things progressed, and that's where I met Serge that day.
Mm-hmm.
And Serge and I became really close, good friends, from that point forward. And so somewhere around 2005, I met a girl that I started dating, and it turns out I was going to see Porcupine Tree, and I'm like, hey, do you want to go with me? and she's like, I'm not really into hard rock. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Didn't you say you like the band Japan? And she's like, I love the band Japan. And I said,
Ooh,
well,
yeah.
the
Like
keyboard player,
X Japan. The
no, Japan, just the band Japan.
Sylvian.
David Sylvian, Mick
Yeah.
Karn, Steve Jansen,
That's
what?
good
Just
stuff.
and
Japan
Steve
J.
Jansen's actually Steve
Well, that
Jansen.
album, what, Gentlemen,
Gentlemen
something.
prefer
Gentlemen
Polaroids.
take Polaroids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Damn,
good stuff.
I've
Tin
never heard of these
Drum,
guys.
Tin Drum, Adolescent
Tin
Sex.
Drum, yeah.
Yeah, they got
Another
great.
post-punk band, huh?
Well, they're
Or
Japan is a very unique band, dude. They don't sound like anybody. They, quite frankly, Japan probably was not probably. They were the original Duran Duran,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
they were a little
Shit.
harder edged, and then they got very unique. Their last two albums were incredibly unique, and then they came back for a one-off reformation called Rain Tree Crow, which was it was all the guys that were in Japan, but they didn't call it Japan.
Mhm.
And it is a fucking killer album. It's so good, man. And I don't know what I'd even call Japan.
Rain
They're
Tree Crow. Yeah.
Rain Tree Crow, right?
Yeah, because Japan, like
Damn.
that whole 80s new romantic movement,
Right.
like they had that style with the hair and the suits and everything, but musically it was just like very out there of kind
Well-
of like more like German type
I
of
agree with you, but I don't. And here's where I agree with you that the final three albums were very out there and very unique and different. But Adolescent Sex and the other one I can't remember the damn name of, they're pretty glammy, dude. They remind me a lot of mid-year era Ultravox. There's very much an Ultravoxy new romantic thing going on.
okay.
And I fucking love that shit.
Well,
I
I-
love it.
I know, like
I
Ultravox. Yeah.
Appreciate a disagreement on Japan because you're the first person in 20 years to disagree with me.
No, and I didn't.
It's just that.
All I was saying was that the first two albums are very much like the new romantic stuff, but
Yeah.
the later stuff has nothing to do with it at all. It's like so far away from it, it's not even funny. Even the hair and the clothing, when it's very androgynous and very glam and androgynous back in the early days, then it got almost like suits and pencil ties and really weird. You know what I mean? They got kind of strange,
Like, is Duran Duran the closest example you can give me for like
what Japan sounds like?
yeah, what Japan sounds like or looks like their aesthetic overall? I mean, like
Duran
Well-
Duran, definitely the look, but
The look.
musically kind of Gary Newman, Stoidizen Neubauten,
Well, there's
Roxy Music at all?
a little glammy
A little,
for the
a
later
little.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you're talking about two like
Also, what is
You
the
know
best
the
way
band-
to
do you
post on Instagram? I'm streaming. What's the best way to be like, hey, if
Just-
anyone wants to watch?
just put
Like-
on your Instagram. Hey, come over to my YouTube channel.
Like,
Right
do you,
now
do you
we're
copy
live.
the link, or is there? Where,
No, you don't. No, you don't want the link in there. Just tell them your YouTube channel name.
Okay,
So if it's Drunken Metalhead Musings or whatever it is,
yeah, it is.
put
Yeah,
put that down.
You
Don't
know,
put the
try to be
link.
try to be simple.
Don't put the link because man, there'll be people like jumping in that you may have no clue who the fuck they are, like into the
like
stream.
That's true.
corn spam.
Yeah.
Going back to the Japan, the David Sylvian, were you ever into like his solo stuff
Oh yeah,
that he did?
love almost all of it.
Yeah, I've never listened to any of his solo stuff. So
It's-
are there any albums you'd recommend or anything?
Brilliant Trees, Gone to Earth,
Mhm.
Camphor, like the whatever that. It's like a eucalyptus plant. Gone to Earth, Secrets of the Beehive.
Okay. So is his solo stuff just really because for that era, one thing that I really love and Nick Rhodes, who is the synth player from Duran Duran,
Right.
those guys who were into analog synths from that era, that was a fucking craft.
Different sounds than you get on all the polyphonic
Right.
canned synths these days. Yeah, this and
Oh,
the
yeah, I
digital
mean,
stuff.
Nick Rhodes, very early Duran Duran, you would see him playing one of those synths where it looked like a church organ, but it had all the patch cables.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like stuff for that. Like,
Now,
and
Richard.
Japan were really like that, where it was like you could tell from listening to it, it was that really early synth sound.
Well, Richard didn't get into the modular synth, which is like the Keith Emerson stuff on the wall. But what Richard did do was he was one of the very first guys to get into like the Prophet 5, which they were all programmed. You came up with those algorithms, and you had to figure out the modulations and what you were adding in effects wise and everything. And that's why his sound is so unique. And you know, I was gonna say there's a band called, you guys have had to have heard this band, even if you just heard them because of the cover, but fucking Talk Talk.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
like
My
when
Life.
when they started out, they were a very synth pop band in 1980, 79, 80. But quite frankly, after the first two albums, they didn't sound anything like that. They went completely into a post-rock, posty sort of vibe, which is very reminiscent of like their album Color of Spring. Shit. Oh, come on, Jeff. Are you gonna fucking blank out on this? The Color of Spring.
Yeah, The Color of Spring, 1986. Is that what you're talking about? Or It's My Life, 1984?
No.
Spirit of Eden?
Yeah, that Spirit of Eden. Laughing. What's the other one? Laughing Stock, I believe, is the last one.
Yeah,
Those-
Laughing Stock is like a pretty big. I think they fell into sort of that ecstasy type of classification.
Nah,
they.
What do you mean by that? Ecstasy
Not
classification?
You mean
like,
XTC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
band.
really wouldn't put them in there. Because XTC were fucking pop writers, man. I mean, they wrote fucking amazing albums. I love their music, love them. I can't think of, other than the two first XTC albums, I can't think of an XTC album I minorly dislike after that. Andy Partridge, fucking genius songwriter, but they were always much more radio friendly, poppy. Like the shit that Talk started doing after their first two albums, their final three albums, it wasn't even really playable on the radio. They were 9-minute songs. They were 7-minute songs that had no choruses. They were super like I tell you, that Rain Tree Crow album, which is the reformation of Japan without calling it Japan. That album, which I think was 86, was it? Or was it 94? I forget. But anyway.
It was 91, I think, actually.
91. That sounds right. 91. That album is so much like that band I just said, Talk, those last three albums. Also, there's another band called Bark Psychosis that did 2 albums. One's called Hex and the other's called Codename Dustsucker. Dude, they're fucking amazing too. They're just, nobody sounded like those bands, and nobody's really ever sounded like them since. That's what's cool. The early Japan sounded like the template for Duran Duran. It sounded like a little bit of New York Dolls. It sounded like a little bit of, the glam bands of that era that, they weren't the same bands. So, yeah. Japan, well worth investing in.
Yeah, so here's my CD for Oil on Canvas.
Here. That's the live album.
I was
Japan?
just listening to this the other day. So,
were you really?
Yeah,
nice.
It was my house cleaning music. So,
and you know what? It's good for that because it's meditative.
Yeah.
He was Oil on Canvas. He was talking about Japan's live album.
Okay.
Yeah. Now they're a band, dude, that I think.
What's meditative about it? Is it
it's
chill?
Just,
I gotta listen to them, I guess.
It's hypnotic and chill, and Americana is, especially the Rain Tree Crow is very Americana, which is weird because none of those guys are from America. I don't think. I don't think Sylvian was American.
No, not at all.
No.
No, he was British, but
That's what I thought. Him and his brother Steve Jansen.
like synth-driven music from that era, because it was
Yeah.
just the process of playing it was so complicated. It
Right.
was just very singular. Whereas nowadays synth stuff can be so crazy, and because
Yeah.
they're using software to make
Well, I was
it.
gonna say
and-
90% of it's on a computer. So
Yeah. Back then it was like, they had floppy disks that they would put into, their synth.
Oh, that's right.
and,
Right, they did.
I mean, it was just very much, you were just listening to just
like
one
one sound
playing on it. Right. Yeah, exactly.
There's just like
And there's shit nowadays where there's just so much going on with just different synth, sounds, and then there's some background ambience of some shit like fucking horses or whatever. And, it just
the rain.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean
yeah,
that
rain.
that 80s
Yeah.
that 80s period of music. I don't know how old you are, Chris. I'm pretty old. So like
I'm 46, so I've
Right.
been around.
I got you by 10.
Okay.
So I was in high school when that stuff was happening. I mean, I remember very well being in middle school and being a Kiss geek, being a total Kiss geek for 3 years. I mean, from Rock and Roll Over through not Dress to Kill, Love Gun. Kiss was my favorite band of all times. But I was aware of bands like Yes, I was aware of the Beatles. I was aware of Carole King. I was aware of James Taylor. So I
Carole
had
King Tapestry.
hell yeah, man! What a killer album! I love that album. So good, man. That was one of my mom's favorites albums, so it's one of mine.
Is every mom's
And
favorite.
James
Yeah,
Taylor,
exactly, every
James
mom.
Taylor's a local to North Carolina, so
Is he?
yeah.
Does he live down there?
I think he's from Raleigh. I think. Let me check.
I
but-
thought he was a Massachusetts boy.
All right, let me see.
Pretty sure he was a Massachusetts boy.
All right,
Originally.
let me
Well, wherever he's from, he should go back and
check.
go
Oh,
back.
I like some JT, man. JT's
Oh,
all right
man.
when I'm in
Well,
a mood.
he had the song. His song was what? Carolina Dreaming or something.
Going to Carolina in my mind.
Going to Carolina.
I
Yeah.
think I've blocked them all out of my memory. So.
I have the greatest hits over here.
I better not bring up my love for John Denver then, huh? But see, you
Don't
ought
even
to
start
know,
with Bob
Chris.
Dylan, Jeff.
But Chris, you ought to know if you watch my channel. I like some fucking heavy duty shit.
Well, you know what? I like that you did a Genesis deep dive. I've been
Yeah.
listening to a lot of Genesis, and I'll be the first to say that I like the Phil Collins stuff a lot, and I know that's like a faux pas.
Are you talking about the later Phil Collins or the first early Phil Collins?
The Phil Collins Genesis, like Duke, and I have the albums laying around here right now.
Well, they
but-
don't forget.
ABBA,
Abba Cab.
something. The
Yeah,
one
don't-
with the puzzle pieces on
That's
it.
Genesis.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
solo. Don't forget though that when Peter Gabriel left, they did 2 albums with Hackett. Yet they did Trick of the Tail and they did Wind and Wuthering, and then Steve Hackett left, and they went to a 3-piece, and it was just Mike and Phil, Tony, and they all were writing, and that's when. And then there were 3 came out, and that was their first foray into what I would start to call the transition from prog band to pop band. Even though there was some poppier songs on earlier albums, like I Know What I Like, and what's the other one? The You Have Your Own Special Way. What's that song called?
I don't know.
It was a big. It was
Do
the big.
not know.
It was their one big hit on fucking Selling England. Damn it! It was the one
was
that
that
Collins.
when they did that "We Can't Dance" song? That's terrible.
Well,
We can't
here's the thing.
dance if we want to.
Here's the
Real
thing.
quick, though.
it's
James
weird.
Taylor's dad was apparently, looked it up, he was the dean. His dad, Isaac M. Taylor, was dean of the University of North Carolina School of Medicine.
That's
So
true. I did know that. Yeah. So he was from there.
he's got connections
Got
to North
ties.
Carolina
Yeah, yeah.
somehow. So
Well, Chris, let me put it to you this way,
sorry,
man.
keep going. My bad.
If you like what I call the Phil Collins pop era, which I would call everything from Abacab forward, I don't blame you because there's millions of other people that did and do.
Oh, absolutely. It's
And
good
I
stuff.
only saw him on Invisible Touch, the one and only time I saw him.
Mhm.
But they played most of that fucking album, and I've hated it ever since. And so I cannot listen to the final 4 Genesis albums. I know a lot of the hits. I've with the exception of 1 or 2 of them, I just can't fucking stand them.
Okay, yeah.
So
So right here I have, hold on. I have the CDs for Invisible Touch right here.
right,
And then Duke.
that's a decent album.
It is. And I love the placement in American Psycho. Christian Bale does an excellent
Oh yeah,
analysis of the album.
yeah,
And then Abacadabra, whatever.
yeah. It's got like 2 good songs on it.
Yeah. And
For
then
me.
there are I have a couple others laying around here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really a big fan of the early Genesis, the Peter Gabriel, like Lamb, Selling England, Foxtrot. I do really like the 2 Phil Collins albums after Peter Gabriel left, and I do like and then there were 3 in Duke, and that's kind of where I get off the train. A buddy of mine, Eli, Hymns from the North, I think it's called. His channel is. He puts a lot of content out. He's been bugging me to do a ranking. Now I did the deep dive, but we didn't rank the albums. I just went into each album chronologically. And he asked me to be on about a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Hey man, could you do a Genesis ranking?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff there at the end of the Genesis catalog that I fucking despise." He's like, "That's not one of them. That's for sure." Great
Okay.
album. Great album.
All right.
Number 3 on my list. I got you're quiet. You
Yeah,
there?
I muted myself on purpose. I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is
that's
number.
not-
This is only number 3.
That was number 3. Yeah. What you want to guess what the first 2 were?
Shit. Selling England by the pound.
That was number 2.
Number 2. Was it the Lamb Laid Down
Of course.
in Broadway? Number 1. Is that it?
Yep. Killer album.
Okay.
And in
yeah.
fact, I had it the other way around.
Wow.
I had Selling England 1, and the other day I listened to both of those back to back, and I'm like, nah, Lamb. Clear winner. Lamb's the clear winner.
I've not heard that. I've not heard either of those 2. This is literally.
Well,
This is of the classic era. This is the
well,
one I've heard
and what's your
in
feeling
full.
on that album?
It's crazy. it's a lot. Let's see. Get Him Out by Friday is awesome.
Yep.
Supper's Ready.
Well, yeah,
is-
that's the number.
That's quite the trip right there. in and of
Chronologically,
itself.
we were talking about this earlier. Eli and I, we were trying to figure out, like, everyone says, well, who's the first prog band? Well, I don't know if we really know that. But what was the first prog album?
Well, I remember us talking about this though. We said it was Moody Blues, right?
That's right, and I forgot about that one. Damn it!
Did we say it was the Moody Blues? Like
that was 67.
Yeah, because
we missed another album or 2.
Well, shit. Which
although I think you're right about that. I do think it's that because we were talking about whether it was in the Court of the Crimson King.
Yeah, because that was 69, but the Moody Blues had one that was from 67. I thought.
Yeah, they did.
That we could objectively classify as like prog rock, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is. Although you can almost call that symphony rock because it was very
dude.
symphony like.
Days of Future Past,
That's it. Yep.
1967.
Yep. I do think that might be the very one, although, it's tricky. Like, okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
That's that. If we call that the first album, of course, there's In the Court of the Crimson King is probably close. Also,
Yeah.
Metal from 1971 is close from Pink Floyd. Metal.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
I mean, that's very close. But the first, I would say, what's prog known for? What's most prog known for? Long songs, right?
Mhm.
Epic prog songs, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people say, well, Foxtrot, that's the first epic prog rock song because it's 22 minutes or whatever. But they're forgetting there was a song that was considerably, well, not, it was in the same time frame range, but it was 1 month older than that came out in September of 72, and Foxtrot came out in October, and that was Close to the Edge. And I always kind of look at Close to the Edge as the first big, massive prog epic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree.
Then again,
From what I know, I mean, I like.
If you really want to get
Close to the
technical,
Edge.
though, if you really want to get technical, you could almost fucking say that Sgt. Pepper's or Magical Mystery Tour was they were kind of proggy.
I think it's when you enter the proto, like
they'd
the
be like
always
proto,
hypothetical proto era.
Yeah,
the Yes album that I really liked a lot, who is the one that had parallels on it. It's the album where they have the skyscrapers on the cover. I think it was
Going for the One.
Going for the One, yeah.
Yeah, I always really liked that one.
Good album. That to me was
I have not heard that one in full.
That was the last great album by the classic bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Rick Wakeman, Steve Howe. I think that there's, believe it or not, Relayer is my favorite of them, and Close to the Edge is probably number 2.
See, and that's impressive that Relayer. I have not listened to Relayer.
I love Relayer, man.
Yeah.
I
just have not gotten to it.
Logan,
Dude,
Nick.
Oh shit, he is. What the fuck?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Cheers,
Cheers, man.
Nick, meet Chris, or Depeche Commode as he's known.
What's up,
Nick,
man?
Radio voice Nick.
I guess that's me.
Wolfman Nick, we call him.
The necrotic dickhead, or erotic Nick. I got called that once.
Did you?
That was pretty cool.
Wow.
The sensual sounds of necrotic Nick.
We'll wrap up. What were we saying
Man of many
there?
names.
Oh, we were talking about Yes real quick.
Yeah.
Where was I going with? Oh,
dude,
the 1980 album Drama, so fucking good. Oh my god, is that album so good? That's
definitely not heard that one.
That's probably my number 3. I like that even over Fragile and some of the more classic stuff. Cold down there, buddy.
Dude, it got fucking frosty here, man. Like,
yeah, my heat
we had a freeze
on
warning last night.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
I'm not turning on the heat yet.
Nick, where are you at?
Oh, I'm in Toledo, Ohio.
Okay, all right. I'm in Chicago, so
yeah, it got chilly like quick. Like we had a couple of days like, hey, we're back in the 70s. Never fucking mind.
I think it's 40. I think it's 45 right here right now.
Actually, I'm curious because I
noticed my heat was torquing all of a sudden.
Let's see. What are we at right now? 43.
Ah, okay.
And looks like it's going to continue to dip.
Yeah, that's a pretty
This was a Goodwill find, like within the past couple weeks.
Goodwill finds are always nice, but
yeah, so
it's not a great album, dude.
I listened to about half of it, and it's very long. First off,
yep,
it just kept going.
That's
But
an
you never know on the first listen for
that's an
Yes
interesting
albums.
thing, though, man. You know, Chris and I, obviously, and Nick, he's about the same age as Chris. So, we came from that era where, or at least I definitely did, and you guys were probably right on the very tail end of it and caught some of it, but the tail end where of the album era where nothing was over 45 minutes, 50 tops, because you could only put about 23, was it 22 minutes on the side or 23 minutes, something like that, on a wax side?
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I think it's 23 minutes per
Something like
side.
that. It's
So
not
like no
20.
album could be longer than
Yeah,
47 minutes or something
right.
like
I
that.
think that's what it was, like 47, 48 minutes. And, then we got into the CD era. Well, we got into the tape era, and you could get closer to like 30 minutes aside on the store-bought tapes, right? I think initially. And then somewhere along the line, then CDs kind of sneak in around that time. And the next thing you know, there's 50 to 60 minutes. Oh, wait, no, 70? Oh, you can put 70 minutes of music on that thing.
Yep.
And man, there's a lot of albums that came
It
out
just
with just
blew up.
too
Yeah,
much music
I agree.
to me now. When I look back at it, it's like, man,
there's way too many bands and too much music and too many options.
for sure.
It's so tough to just listen to an album nowadays on like Apple Music or whatever, like when I'm at work or driving, because I just jump around from track to track. I don't listen to an entire album. When I want to listen to an album, that's when I put a CD on or something,
Mhm. So
Rick,
I think
Nick
the
doesn't
question
really know what
is,
Nick doesn't know what you're talking about when it comes to variety and too much choice.
well, I'm
This
curious.
is all
I'm
blue
curious
green
from
screen.
Green screen.
I'm curious for Nick's perspective though. Like, how do you figure out when you're actually want to dive in, or this is an album that you're interested in actually diving in? Because to me, there is way too much, and I can't glom on to the first listen.
I don't know,
usually.
it's well,
it takes
with,
multiple listens usually to figure out if I'm actually enjoying something.
well, the way when we sit down and like review albums,
Yeah.
we'll pause it, we'll go back, we take notes, we'll talk to one another about what we're getting. So it's a pretty in depth.
It's a process.
Sit down. But I mean, for me, it's just something like I just kind of feel like I just want to sit down and listen to that. Like something sparks that, and then I'll listen to the entire album. I was like, yeah, this was good. Whether it's something old or something new, like I got a fucking wild hair at my ass today because I saw that Doth had reformed.
DAAF.
Yep.
DAATH. I mean, sorry.
Yep.
Doth. Yes.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah.
I guess there's going to be a new single dropped the 26th.
Is that
Something
Cult
like that.
of Death?
Yeah, the one that essentially Chimera borrowed.
I think, I have. Well, if it's Cult of Doth, I have a CD around here.
No, it's just
somewhere.
Doth, just
Okay.
singular. It had Kevin Talley was the drummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they reformed. I don't know who's all still in the band, but I saw they reformed, and I was like, man, I haven't listened to Concealers in a while, and I jammed that, and I was like, dude, fuck, this album still rips.
To me, what was that? What was that song off the Concealers? It was
Was it?
there was one song that they had that was just insane.
Oh god!
It was like a lead single. It might have been off the one before the Concealers. The hint.
I
well-
know the name, but I don't know the music.
It was it. Hold on. I know it. Day of Endless Light.
Yes, Day of Endless Light.
Dude,
that was the chorus was like,
Oh, yep.
yeah,
Dude, that opening
it was
riff.
just a headbanging.
I mean,
riff.
they kind of found this like sweet spot between like melodic death metal and maybe
did.
more aggressive like death thrash and like a little bit of like groove metal. I don't know. It was good. Like Concealers was the one I really got into. I like the Hinderers. Hinderers is different though. Like there's more keyboards on it. But yeah, they decided to get back together, and I mean they haven't put out an album in 12 years.
It was funny. That was Kevin Talley who ended up playing for this band, right?
Everyone plays for that band.
Okay, everyone plays for that band.
Everyone. All right.
But-
It's like, do I have to tell people I'm in the band? Like, yeah, you fucking got
That 6. Hey, come on! Like the first 2 6 Feet Under, well, are good
This
albums.
is third. This is
especially
the third
first
one.
I own.
So,
all
Chris,
of
do you
that.
actually do you
That's it.
like some 6 Feet Under albums?
I have an undying respect for Chris Barnes
I can't
Amen.
stand
because
that
he's
fucking
the
clown.
original
Amen.
death metal vocalist.
Yeah,
He is.
that's awesome.
Like the Cannibal stuff, dude. I fucking adore that shit. Like,
All right, well,
that's,
what's your favorite Cannibal album?
For me,
Yeah.
Tomb of the Mutilated. It's
Bleeding.
just
Okay.
so incredible. I mean, just the opening with Hammer Smashed Face. It is just such a sick song, and it's still
Oh,
to this
yeah.
day. And I mean,
I Come
Butchered
Blood.
at Birth is
I
amazing.
Come Blood,
Eaten Back to
yeah.
Life is amazing. Yeah, Chris Barnes, he is the OG death metal vocalist. Prove me wrong.
The undecipherable one, like the one you're
He-
like, what the fuck
he
is he
is-
saying?
I think he was, you know,
What
like
is going on?
there was that saying though that like never be first because like I think he like not doing the vocals like the right way trashed his voice really early on.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably.
In terms of like people following suit and arguably doing it better, like he was the guy that inspired him. Like, dude, Frank Mullen.
What
Mullen's
about
Well, okay, so Chris Barnes is kind of like how they played football in the 90s versus compared to nowadays. Where
Yeah.
it's a penalty flag for everything and
padding's a lot
it's
different.
flag football. Okay, so think of it like that. Like, yes, Chris Barnes shredded his vocal cords, but dude, for raw, and that's the thing is that nowadays so many vocals and everything are so processed, and they have so many
Yeah.
filters on them. But back then, to just listen to just even the demos, like one thing that I really like a lot, and I've been listening to lately, are the bootleg of the Vile demos that when Chris Barnes did the vocals for
Yep.
those songs.
I don't think I've heard those.
Yeah, it's
Shit.
it's like 6
Created
songs
to
from
Kill?
Vile, but we're
Is that what
Chris
it is?
Barnes.
Crave to Kill?
Was it Created to Kill or
I think
So-
that that's the name of the bootleg.
yeah?
But I think it's also on the box set. I think they put those out on the box set. But like just raw old school death metal vocals are something you don't hear anymore because everything is so processed.
I mean,
I mean,
to a
people
degree, like
complain about drum triggers. Drum triggers are like a complaint from years ago. For me
Mhm.
nowadays, it's just processed death metal vocals.
but it depends on the style of death metal you're listening to too. Like there's a lot of bands that go for more of that old school sound, like even as far as like old school production. But I mean, like
Yeah.
the fiercely modern, like God, I hate fucking sandbagging the label, but I mean it's a lot of what they sign. Unique Leader,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the stuff they sign is very processed, and almost to the point where it sounds artificial. That I kind of take issue with. I like more like old school, like Undeaf. I think Alexander Jones, hell of a fucking good vocal delivery. He kind of sits somewhere between Barnes and Frank Mullen. I mean, shit, dude. Listening to the new Autopsy, I mean, fucking Chris Ryford's still up there.
Oh,
one
I
of my
still have to
favorites.
listen to that. I still have to listen
Oh,
to
it's
the
gnarly.
Autopsy.
It's fucking great.
I have to say that artwork is my favorite artwork of the year.
Autopsy.
Best
Oh,
best
dude.
album cover of
Ben
the year
Scoter
so
fucking
far.
rules.
Yeah, he does, and that is one of his best album covers. Just
I like the,
the
bloodbath
detail.
one, too.
Oh,
The-
the
the
Autopsy
dude's
blows
jaw
my mind out of the
hanging
water,
off.
though.
Like,
That's cool.
But I don't know, like Ben Scoter just I don't know, he knows how to capture gross. Like
He does.
it's
yeah.
it's always something like filthy and kind of haunting.
In the 30-year Incantation recap album cover he did. What was that? Because he did the album cover for that too. The
Is
Incantation.
is that the one that was just released like this month? Like the triple
for
LP?
Incantation? Yeah.
Okay.
I still haven't got that.
So
he did that
is
album
that
cover.
like a-
Tricentennial, I don't know, something.
Okay, so is that like a B-sides comp or is it just like a greatest hits?
I think it's both, I believe.
I think there's one new song on it too. I think
It's probably more of a B-sides comp, honestly.
I mean, I'll probably still pick it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I was
the-
trying to I'll buy the CD, but I was
Oh,
debating if I should
Yeah,
buy the vinyl.
Tricentennial Blasphemy, this one right here.
Oh, dude, that looks fucking sick.
Have you not seen this?
No, I haven't, because I looked at it. I was like, I mean, do I really need that? Like, because I saw it was coming out, I didn't look at the album cover.
Just
but
look at
dude,
the
that
album
looks
cover,
fucking
dude.
awesome.
Pull it up. It's because it's on like a crescent moon. There's multiple like bodies being like plowed over, and it's awesome.
Tricentennial or tricennial?
Probably Tricentennial. Wait,
Don't
no,
tricennial.
Tricennial. Because you're right. It's not been
Jesus.
around for 3 centuries.
That is amazing. That's
Tricennial
worth it
Blasphemy.
on the album cover alone.
That's what it's fucking awesome. The album cover is, and that's Vince Schroeder.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
dude, they well, Incantation are one of those bands where it's like they've had, I think, like 3 really distinct artists doing their album artwork. Like Chris Moyen, who he did some of their stuff, and then he did like Anal Cunt is a band that I've always liked, and he did like an album for them, and
Really?
he's been around. And then
Who's the Korean chick though that did
Yeah,
their
the one
OG
who did,
stuff?
like-
Oh
Yeah.
god, those album
What-
covers are creepy.
Dude,
yeah, they're awesome.
Onward to Golgotha and
Mortal Throne
Mortal Throne of the Nazarene. Yeah, I forget. Yeah, dude, that
and Diabolical.
where it's like the
Something
lungs.
too, right?
It's just like organs
Or
and
not Conquest.
yeah, Diabol. Yeah, it's just like a mesh of everything just merging in. It's dude, perfect for the horror movie season because it's just like a
Yeah, I mean,
massive flesh and caving on itself or something.
all of them remind me of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I know Elleron Cantor did the last couple, I think, for Incantation. You know,
Yeah.
Sect of Vile Divinities and Profane Nexus. I know those were both his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Which are both really good albums.
Sect of Vile Divinities
I-
for sure is awesome.
I love that album. I think that's one of their best. I don't know. Diabolical Conquest has always been one of my favorites. Like, dude, that it's just insanely good fucking songwriting.
Man.
That and Daniel Corchado.
you guys did the ranking for all their stuff.
Yeah, that Diabolical
It's a
Conquest was the number
good
one. I was
of-
like, dude, that was tough though, because
Mm-hmm.
I like Blasphemy. I definitely think is one of the weaker ones, but it's still really fucking good.
Which Chris, do you like Blasphemy a lot?
I like Blasphemy, yeah, and
Yeah.
I was just placing an order, and it's available on vinyl from Hell's Headbangers, so I think I'm gonna pick it up.
Blasphemy. Yeah.
Yeah, I already have 2 copies of the CD, so I figure I need a third.
You know,
That's a trip.
it's bizarre that it's kind of bizarre that somehow I completely missed the boat on Incantation. Like, I didn't even hear about them until maybe 5 years ago when I first listened to Onward to Golgotha, and I never went out and picked their stuff up. Which the only problem that I have with Incantation is there is a bit. You guys are gonna get ready. I can see you're getting ready to pounce.
We're ready.
There's a
Let's do
wee
it.
bit of sameness.
What?
To a degree. I'll
Get 'em.
give you that.
Oh, damn it.
Of
I mean-
with Incantation?
Yeah, once you get
No.
into the third and fourth and fifth and that onwards up. I mean, like, I really do like Onward to Golgotha. I think that's a
Oh,
a masterpiece of
That's
death
still
metal.
my favorite, honestly.
Yeah, that's it. Probably mine
That's
as
still
well.
my favorite.
I mean, it's up there. I don't know.
But I didn't really like. I don't know why. I just for some reason every time I thought to buy stuff, that just never occurred to me, dude. You don't own any incantation.
I mean, honestly, like I said, if you like Onward, you'll probably like a good chunk of it. Like the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Death Doomy stuff starts
Mhm.
because that one's more just pure death metal. Like when they started getting more into the Death Doom moments, I think it's
Oh,
like a little bit later. But
Right.
and Diabolical Conquest.
Oh.
That's the album right there.
that one's my favorite.
Yeah.
Some of the Death Doom stuff, I feel like there are bands like Anatomia who just have perfected Death Doom, like where they're so incredible and I love them. And Incantation, when they were doing Death Doom, I feel like it's where like okay, there's an area of improvement with Death Doom
Mhm.
where maybe it was just a little too maybe it was just too many vocals and not enough noise or sludge in the background. But yeah, it Incantation. Listen to their discography, and then you'll end up hating yourself for not loving them sooner in life.
No,
Because
I like them. I didn't
Yeah.
say I didn't like them. I just haven't. You know how it is. You can't listen to everything, and you can't buy everything.
Can't too.
And
What?
except for Nick.
There's
I'm just
exceptions out
curious.
there.
Just does anyone hear my heater in the background that just went on?
Nah.
Okay. All right. Good.
You're good, man.
Yeah, everybody but Nick has a limited budget, allegedly.
I just eliminate brain space for important things.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I mean, there's certain bands that, like, man, I've known about them for the last 12 years, and I just haven't got, or whatever it is, and the other thing too with me that's different to a lot of, I really think honestly, in particular to guys your age, Chris and Nick, is that when death metal started to become a thing, I was already kind of pushing my mid to late 20s, and so I came up through thrash was the heavy shit. Thrash was like the heaviest stuff that was happening at that point. And then when death metal came out, I loved the music, but I was just like, man, what the fuck are they doing with their voices? It's just so stupid.
So was
Like,
it
it's
the
just-
vocals that was the?
Oh, what wasn't? It was 1,000,000% the vocals. I tried. I remember trying Deicide. I remember trying
Oh.
Cannibal. When their first albums came out, Obituary, and I'm like, this is fucking man. This stuff is so ripping heavy, and then they just ruin it with that voice. What the fuck?
Well, dude, I hate to say, Deicide and Obituary are still like bottom of the tier for me. Like
Well, I will say,
as far as vocals go, like
I mean,
Deicide was still like too much. When
John
I got
Tardy-
in.
I could get into like for something because it was such a hammed up delivery.
Oh,
Everything
it was
ended in.
It was because of that I couldn't get into it. It was like
I
too
loved
much.
it.
It was just
Well, yeah,
crazy.
you had-
It took away
you had-
from the whole song. How hammed up. He
where
was
you
like,
talking about? Are you talking about Obituary? Just Obituary?
Yeah,
Yeah. John's voice definitely is an acquired taste.
Like-
that.
I will say, like, I originally got Slowly Rot like back when I was a teenager. Never liked it, and then I got Cause of Death later on. Awesome album.
Click.
Yeah, never was Slowly Rot though, because
Well,
the
I mean-
vocal delivery is just still too.
I
Too
I
much.
told this story
It
before.
overshadows the songs.
I'm sure Nick's heard this, but Logan,
Hmm.
I didn't really get into death metal proper until 2001 when I heard Blackwater Park. Here's
Yeah,
the funny
yeah.
here's the funny story though. So I know Steve Wilson, and we're back and forth emailing each other over a period of time. He's like, "You really got to check this band Opeth out." And I'm like, "Steve, I gotta tell you that Opeth stuff was absolutely fucking phenomenal, amazing music. But what's with the vocals? Come on, man. He's like, wait a minute, the guy that turned me on to Frontline Assembly and Skinny Puppy is now going to complain about the vocals. I'm like, oh, he might have a point there. So, because I'm listening to Frontline Assembly and Skinny Puppy, all this processed vocal stuff, and Bill Leeds sounds all evil, and it was like, yeah, he's got a point. And so then I kind of went back at Blackwater Park a second time and went, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I need to do this again. And that went on and on for about a week, and I was like, what the hell was wrong with me? What did I
That's what
miss?
it takes. Yeah.
But again, I was 10, 15 years older than you guys. So it was like I had to go backwards into death metal as opposed, you know what I mean? Like death metal was well established and on long in the tooth by the time I kind of decided to go check it out.
I've always taken issue with Cookie Monster vocals that are where it's okay. So like one band musically that I've loved is Brodequin, but but trying to listen to it with the vocals, like part of it is like, okay, Logan knows this. I have a sick fucking stereo system. My stereo system is massive. It sounds incredible. And if you can play it loud enough, then okay, guttural Cookie Monster death metal vocals like that.
It only depends on the neighbors. That's all.
And you know what? They don't matter. But
they don't matter.
But like if you're just listening to Brodequin over headphones, or not just that, but there's just so much just guttural death metal vocals that just sound so corny. Where I mean, like Cryptopsy are another band where they went through a phase where one of their vocalists was just awful, and he was just trying to do that guttural thing, and he didn't know how to do it. And
after Lord Worm,
was it DeSalvo?
Yeah.
Didn't he have like more of a hardcore delivery?
Yeah.
What albums?
Oh God, I can't remember.
Okay. Sorry. Was it the deathcore ones?
But like Lord Worm was on what, None So Vile, and then Whisper Supremacy, I think. That one with the dude sitting on the railroad tracks with the bad
and then
you'll beg, I think.
Not a favorite.
I mean, vocals are one of those things where, like, in death metal, amongst the many decades of death metal that I've listened to, there have been many changes in death metal styles, and I've always preferred screaming over guttural. Like, I always prefer screaming. So.
I don't know. Like, for me, I like the big cavernous, like, vocals and stuff like that, like the deep roars. It's the more brutal death slam vocals.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The pig snouts.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. Yeah.
Man, the pig the shit is the worst squealing for me. If I hear one pig squeal on something, I'm done. I'm out. Gone.
Now, like, I can handle it, like, if it's just done as a one part, and then the rest of it is like a straightforward, like, solid death roar, and they occasionally do it like that, like a super low one, like that's fine. But if it's the entire time, like, except for maybe Dying Fetus, but they break it up pretty well between him and Sean. But yeah, if it's that where it sounds like they're saying "brie" over and over and over again, like that's where it's hard for me to really.
Wait, where it sounds like they're saying what? Breed, B-R-E-E-D.
Brie, as in the cheese, like brie cheese.
Oh, brie the cheese. Oh yeah, yeah.
Slice the brie.
That is. Go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
Well, no, I was gonna say that. I think the first time I heard those pig squeals, I just was literally like, "What in the fuck? Like what? Like are they joking?" It was like the first time I heard. But it was like the first time I heard King Diamond vocals. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are they serious?
Like I don't hate them, but I've grown to like them. You guys remember the first time you heard "Entombment of the Machine" by Job for a Cowboy?
Yep.
No, I never listened to it.
Yep. Honestly,
And
I
that's
don't like
that's
the Doom EP.
It's okay. I don't mind it.
Whoa!
Jesus.
What?
Benny,
What cat-
what the
what
fuck
cat-
are you doing?
That's my cat. He just
Oh, is that
woke
yours?
up from a nap.
Oh.
So he
Oh,
wants
man.
treats now.
It's not this guy.
Uh-oh. We've been invaded. We've been invaded by the pussycats.
he hears them.
Where's yours at, Nick? Yours is gonna show up any minute. right?
I don't know. In fact, don't say his name because he'll start
He's
meowing and
fucking
fucking like
bastard
circling
driver.
around
So-
me and popping up right
Okay,
there.
so one thing about
God damn it,
his
Benny.
squealing vocals. The first time I ever heard that was I was at Maryland Death Fest.
Oh, shit.
And this is probably like 2013 or so. And there was this one band from overseas, and I remember the bassist had this bass that looked like a ball sack, and like the neck was a big penis. I forget what they were called, but like if I saw the name, I would absolutely remember it immediately. But the
Sounds like
vocals-
Guar, but it's not, I guess. Guar?
No. I mean the songs, they're all just like
Goodalex?
porno gore type of
Yeah, that's-
type of songs.
It's like a
but-
fucking
Gore grind, porno
what,
grind.
Czech Republic, like obscene extreme fest
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
yeah,
Dude.
Gulax or mincecore kind of shit. Which, dude, Nick, no, Chris, sorry, I showed these dudes. I have the album "Looking for an Answer," from the band "Looking for an Answer."
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Grossed them out. That have I showed you that album cover?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember it.
All right, give me. I've showed it on the stream before. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like
grab
looking
it.
for an answer, like the grindcore.
They're the mincecore, like the vegan grindcore, like
Okay.
All right.
Here.
I have some looking for an answer stuff.
I know you do because you bought the couple CDs from Manifest, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. I got this one from Lunchbox, I believe. I'll grab it real quick. Go back.
You know what's weird is that Logan sent me the text like, "Hey, we're streaming live," and I was just about to. I had my stereo turned on. I was just about to put on a CD, and I was going to listen to the Shags.
I know that
What the hell?
album.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
Like, not only do I have Philosophy of the World, but I also have the self-titled.
Look at you, man. Look at you. Boy, that artwork on
I
that
was like, yeah,
self-titled.
tonight's a Shags night for me.
Dude, someone played that for me forever ago when I was really high. And I was like, dude, I have
What?
no idea what is going. Neither does the band. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this?
My
What-
pal's
what is
name
it?
is Foot.
The
What is
Shag?
I've never heard of them.
It's what is it like? Literally, like father
Gos-
just brought
gospel
up his
family.
daughters to be musicians, but didn't teach them how to play a lick.
It's an album that was recorded with 3 daughters of this pastor, and
Oh.
they didn't know how to play their instruments. I think really in the background it's just a big joke that people have taken too serious, and it's just clever marketing. But it's 3 people, 3 teenagers who don't know how to play instruments who recorded like a 40-minute album.
I
Wow.
never made it the full 40 minutes.
But you're right, exactly. It's been pressed on vinyl in like 1968, and
That's
there are
crazy.
like legit. So it's a legitimate release. It's not something pretending to be from way back when.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's funny as hell, man. I mean, there was a lot of those releases in the 50s and the 60s like that. What's that?
Dude.
Wait.
So
You
how
didn't- no,
how
you
do
didn't-
I?
Oh, I've seen that cover.
Look at this.
Oh, yep, yeah, nope. That's
Yep.
pretty close.
Oh
Yep.
man.
That's the looking for the answer in Eterno Treblinka.
Oh wow. Treblinka.
Yeah, that's a hell of a
Yeah.
reference.
You know what that is? Yeah.
Very
Yep.
It's one of the
They
one of the
definitely do.
Nazi
All right.
one of the Nazi death camps.
How do I get back to normal screen?
Escape. You
Fuck.
hit the thing.
I just hit escape. Oh wait, no.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
You're becoming a StreamYard king tonight. A champ.
Slowly but surely. But oh, this is some crazy grindcore with like an album cover. I would not. Well, this is like the third time I've showed off on a stream. I think. So,
Pretty gnarly.
but it's
You don't-
it's
You don't
it's
go
crazy.
forgetting a. What's up, Kitty?
Hey Benny,
Bush.
do you have a haircut currently, or you need a haircut?
He hasn't gotten. He hasn't been gotten
he
a
needs
haircut
one.
in a while.
I did snag. I mean, it'll be in the next collection update, but I'll show it because I did find some really cool grind or gore grind. Hold on one sec.
You want to show some new stuff, Chris? What you been jamming to, man?
Okay, so you want to
It's
see
been a
some
bit.
new stuff?
I want to see some new stuff, man. Come on, it's been a little
Well,
bit.
first of all, there has been too much new stuff.
I feel you there for sure.
I've been a bad boy lately.
Oh, what
I've
does
been- I
fucking
have been-
Alan? What does fucking Alan say? Dirty monkey. What the fuck is these?
Right. I've been a bad boy. So right here, what I have are Discordance Axis. They just pressed the Inalienable Dreamless.
Yeah.
Like Willow Tip did it. So I have every variant that they just repressed for 2021. But then also I have every variant that they repressed in 2011, including a sealed copy. And then I also have the first press on black vinyl. So I have
just in case.
right. Well, and then I also have the CD2. So, which keep in mind, Inalienable Dreamless is my second all-time favorite grind album ever. So I need to own every
Shit,
pressing
what's the
possible.
first?
From Enslavement to Obliteration.
Ah, okay.
That's the grind album that absolutely just created everything. So yeah, I have that many pressings of Inalienable Dreamless. I just bought a bunch of Vital Remains stuff. Marduk. I got a Marduk record coming in the mail. I just got the Alice in Chains Dirt
30th
press that was just released.
the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, the new one. Let's see here. I got the new Vermin Womb.
Yeah, nice.
That album, that album's. I don't know, man.
It's
It made
yeah,
my brain
know.
itchy.
it's a lot, dude. Right? It's tough to digest. I think.
It's Ethan from Primitive Man. I knew what to expect. He likes really noisy.
Which-
Ooh,
Yeah,
dude,
I'll-
And then I also just got Lieber Mutter by Heino.
What the hell?
do not
right
know that
here.
at all, Chris. I
I
don't know
never
what the
heard
fuck that is. What is that?
I'm
German folk.
What?
Yeah, it's definitely good stuff to check out. So Heino is a
Oh,
classic.
what's the music?
It is. He's a baritone, so like just imagine someone walking through a forest with an acoustic guitar, singing.
I'm in.
Hey,
I've heard that enslaved song. I think.
It's
Did it come with a
that
beer
type of
stein?
music.
I feel like it should have come with a beer stein.
Oh, absolutely.
And beer-
Arms around your buddies, beer stein in hand.
That
It's
sounds
that type
fun.
of-
Actually,
Couple koozies.
Some
Yeah,
later
And one, of
hosing.
and one of those hats with the instead of like in the U.S. where it'd be 12 ounces, over there it'd be like 24 ounces. You put the cups
Right.
with the hats.
Oh yeah,
Draw.
the huge overflowing
double
steins.
steins
Yeah. Oh yeah.
on the head.
God, I have a lot. I've been so bad.
Damn you.
What I have right here. So I was going through. Okay, so I just bought this Abyss comp, the Abyss, and this is Hypocrisy
Oh, that's
before
Peter
they were
Tägtgren.
Hypocrisy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So like Hypocrisy before they were Hypocrisy, they were the Abyss. And what this is, they released 2 albums. This is a comp that I just got from Mexico, and it's a legit press, not a boot. And it's the first 2. It's the 2 albums that they released of the Abyss.
Yeah.
And lately, I've been on a
Wasn't that
Hypocrisy.
while they were Hypocrisy though? Like it wasn't before. It was like during. I thought like because isn't that like the mid '90s?
I can't tell what the dates are, but this was before they were the Abyss, and they all played different instruments. Like I think the guitarist in Hypocrisy was playing drums on this, and I mean it's really interesting because Hypocrisy are a really good band, like they really are. So I got that, and then what else? I just got some Grief because I've been listening
I love
to
Grief,
a
dude.
lot of. I've been into like some sludge lately, so I picked this up.
Shit, where did you get that from?
It was a Discogs.
That was Discogs. Okay.
Yeah. So I have every Grief CD.
I only have Into Grief by them.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I love it.
The reincarnation of Grief called Come to Grief.
Yeah.
Come to
That
Grief. Yeah.
album that they just put out, which I also have, that's a really good one too.
It's
I
good.
do like that one. Yeah.
If you're into like really just like crusty sludge, that is some good stuff. Definitely.
Yeah. That I don't know. Grief is right up my alley. I love crusty sludge, as you know, like that.
I
That
did
shit's
find some interesting grindy stuff.
What you got? Oh yeah.
Miasmatic necrosis or necrosis. Yeah, necrosis. Yeah.
The dudes behind Maryland Death Fest, right?
I think it is. I haven't really looked that far into it because they're still relatively anonymous, I guess. But dude, this is. I mean, I'm generally like gore grind is really hit or miss, and man, there's a fair amount of gore there. But these songs are fucking catchy. Like, I feel like I'm listening to, like a gore grind version of Nawesome or Rotten Sound. Like very just intense in your face. It does have the pitch corrected gurgled vocals, and I mean it's comical. And dude, some of the song titles that's always
What's the
Half
best
the
one?
fun.
Give me the best one. What's the best one?
Oh, I mean, in terms of just gross,
Yes.
got to be track 12, Gargling Smegma,
Oh,
which I don't know how you gargle that because
Yeah, how
that's-
do you?
You
It's really
gotta
not-
melt it. I think you gotta melt it first.
yeah, you got to like put it in the microwave first.
You gotta heat it up.
Add
Let
it-
it cool down.
Probably
Add it
strain
to-
out some of the stuff.
No, don't.
Now, smegma though, that was the mixture of fluids, like
Yes. At the
But
base.
it kind of thickens
from
up.
both
You think.
cavities,
I was
right?
gonna say, but it usually
Yeah.
thickens.
It's mostly
It's solid though.
it's more
I'm
like a
pretty sure.
paste.
It's like a paste.
Okay,
There you
all
go.
right, more of a paste.
It's like you've heard of Schmegma toothpaste, right? It's pretty much like that.
Okay,
Yeah, probably like a thickness of like warm cream cheese.
I was gonna say pimento cheese.
Oh, but yeah, there's
Well, that
definitely
wins,
some
I
other
think.
ones. I mean, it's septic expulsion of a collapsed cavity. Sounds wonderful.
That's solid.
I'm here. I just got to turn my light off.
Seeping parasitic innards.
Oh,
Oh god. Ugh. Secreting sebaceous cyst.
Oh, a sebaceous cyst, which is
Oh
a
yeah.
See,
So
that's
you
in your epidermis. Yeah, so that's
yeah,
secreting is always a good word. Always.
like you guys like tapioca pudding?
love it.
Well, there you go. That would be your smegma. That would kind of be
Wait,
your
no,
Well,
smegma.
you
no, I
won't.
don't.
Yeah, but yeah, then I was kind of shocked by this one. I was like, dude, this is like not just silly; it's actually really good. I mean, it's still silly.
No,
What's it
I
called?
feel like
Um, Miasmatic necropsy, or no,
Let's see.
necrosis. Sorry, miasmatic or miasmatic necrosis, and the album is called Apex Profane,
Okay.
which I think they achieved that with gargling smegma. Like
Yeah,
that's
gargling
the most
smegma.
vile fucking thing.
Did you say it's allegedly the guys that are run Death Fest?
That's what I've heard. I haven't been able to
that's what I've
confirm that.
heard. This is one of the dudes from the Maryland Death Fest is part of that band.
So when it comes to like crazy like death metal song titles, lately a
Ooh,
band I've been
we're
into is
pulling 'em up.
Pharmacist.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been
And
meaning to get
so
that new one.
now here's just this is some of what I have on CD is the Pharmacist Fluids
Oh God, that one.
that
Guy Young.
I also have this on vinyl. This is Pharmacist medical renditions of something or other. Of course, we all know this one.
Mm.
And then the Edgar Pharmacist Split. And then another Pharmacist. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read that, but it's sick.
Could you read it with glasses?
And then I have this Pharmacist. And then the Pharmacist Oozing Split. And then there's also, I have 2 3-inch CDs from Pharmacist that I also have the vinyl pressings for as well.
Is that Pharmacist the Japanese band?
Oh, yeah, they're sick, dude. They are so sick.
Yeah,
man.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not a gore grind dude or a grindcore dude.
Well,
I just-
well, they're like early Carcass Worship.
Yep,
So it's
How early?
probably
Like-
Symphony.
well, I was gonna say the problem with that is Rika Putrefaction is one of the most skankiest fucking albums I've ever heard.
Exactly.
and it's totally it's right up that alley.
Yeah, it's
Like, are they symphonies or are they reek? That's the question.
yeah. I
It
just,
is Rika Putrefaction, but but it's a 2-piece band, and dude, they're sick. I'm like, I mean, they can
Yeah.
riff, they can.
I'm sure.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've listened to a little bit of them, but I just, with the exception of Napalm, which Devin kind of got me to appreciate. I just
Oh,
don't really
Napalm
get into.
Death?
Yeah, I never really was. I tried them and never really got it, like way back, and don't know
The
that I still
grind.
get it. But
All right. So
Yeah, I
this is a 3-inch CD
no, cool.
from them. I also have I bought a T-shirt, like a long sleeve from Japan, and I
Oh,
didn't realize that sizing
Are they
is
different?
different.
In
I was
Japan?
I was gonna say a large over there is like fucking
It's like a
Yeah.
like
small.
an XL here is like a larger fitting medium over
Yeah,
there.
exactly, dude. Yeah, the guys are
Wait, isn't it vice versa? Yeah.
generally much smaller
Yeah.
framed. So what you're saying is you have a spare shirt for Logan that he can have at some point because he's
Yeah,
Probably more-
I'll mail it to him. I owe him a few things, so
Ah.
yeah. I mean that's that my son was over in Japan 17 and 18 I guess it was, and he's not very big. He's only 5'6.5" maybe. He's like, man, I felt really tall there a lot of the time. Not always. He said every now and again you'd see a really tall Japanese guy and it would be like almost kind of freaky.
He felt
But-
tall at 5'6.5".
What's that?
He felt tall at 5'6.5".
In Japan, yeah. A lot of the guys are
That's-
5'4", 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah.
They're not tall. You know, there's I haven't heard of the Japanese guy to rival Yao Ming or anything like that so far. I'm sure there's.
Send
I'm
Devin
sure
to
there's.
Japan. See what they
What's
do.
that?
Send
that?
Devin to Japan.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Oh, he would
Country
be freakish.
conquered.
He would be freakishly tall. Yeah.
There's some
I
blonde
invited-
nightmare walking outside. He's too huge.
Guys,
I asked. I
Sorry. What, Jeff?
What? Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I found something happened here with my iPhone in the last month because
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You were off for
So
like a
when you were saying Jeff, I was talking to you, but you couldn't hear me. So something happened now ever since right before I did that deep dive with Austin Lund. I don't know if I don't know if I need to reload my operating system, but I used to be able to. You guys should remember this too. I used to jump over into my notes while we were streaming live,
Yes,
and I would
yeah.
read something. I can't do that now because ever since the I don't know if something changed in their operating
An update.
system or if StreamYard did. Yeah, I don't know if there's some update I'm missing because now, like, I just jumped out there to look at what did I went out to look at my text messages. So I wasn't technically even out of the browser. And as soon as I did, I heard you guys going, Jeff. And I'm like, oh shit, it's doing it again. Because I was going, guys, hang on, I'll be right back. You didn't hear me.
So you just cut off like in the middle.
Yeah, just
And
like
you're
boom.
like,
I guess like
what?
yeah. Very strange. Very, very strange. So Nick, was that all you were going to show us, or were you showing us other
That
stuff?
was well. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
The
was that
rest.
one?
The rest will be in a collection update.
Well,
but,
yeah.
Don't
yeah.
want to spoil.
But yeah, I love the gooey cover. It's fun.
Go up,
The cover's
Well,
awesome.
blow that up a sec. Let me see it.
The-
All
that
right.
dude
How
looks
do I
great.
do that? Like,
You
let's
go
see.
over. No, you
Oh
go
no,
over.
that's not. That's it. All right.
Oh, that's him.
Now, go over
that's
Nick.
me.
Go over
Okay.
top of Nick.
Wait, no, that's not it. One sec. So I'm over top of Nick. Now what do I do?
You should be able to. What do you have? Your mouse or something?
Do I
You're on
click?
top of me.
Click
I
click
did
your
not
mouse.
con-
Yeah,
consent.
I'm top of you, Nick. What solo layout? Is that what I do?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh wow, how special!
Oh God.
Look
Oh
at
yeah,
you.
yeah. Like the eyeball is such a good touch on there.
Yes.
So fucking hideous, man.
Dude, look at the back.
Oh God.
Dude, look at the. I love their logo. Their logo is just awful. It's
Yep.
it's
What's
a
it called
freaking
again?
mess.
What is it? again?
Miasmatic necrosis.
Like, there's no way. There's no way to fucking figure out what their logo says.
I mean,
Like,
well, since I know the name of the band, like I can.
Yeah, you can
Pick
see
it
it
out.
now, but
It's
if you
the
didn't-
actually the miasmatic. The first word is easier. The second word,
still,
yeah, you can barely make out the necrosis on there.
dude.
I'll be right back, guys. I just want to check one thing. I asked what I was telling you was I asked Devin to join us, and then I haven't
Yes.
heard a word. And I usually always hear back from him. Like,
Dude,
Yeah.
tell them that there's 0 people watching the stream. That might-
that's yeah. That might actually entice him. Actually,
yeah, tell them there's no one watching at all. It's a literal echo chamber. All right. Here, let me grab some shit I've been jamming.
All right.
Nick,
I mean, the most I have to show up is, I mean, I just got copies of stuff that we've already reviewed.
I just got this one. I just got this.
Oh,
one.
dude, awesome album.
Yeah.
I think I like the one before it a little bit more. But
yes. So I'm still trying to figure out how this one factors in to their discography because I've been a fan of these guys since their first album.
I think it was the second one that I became a fan.
It was shit. What was their first one? It was like Tales of the Supernatural or something like that.
I think that's right, but I'm gonna double check.
Please do.
Of Terror and the Supernatural.
Terror and
Yep.
the Supernatural. That's still my favorite, but it's either this one or the last one.
Oh, The World That Was so
The World That Was,
good.
I thought was
That
awesome.
That one, I feel like they went like just straight for that classic, like Peaceville, Death Doom, like
They did.
Catatonia,
This one right
Paradise
here.
Lost. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I agree. So I've been hearing people having issues with them ending on the like the mellow track. And I agree it's a problem. Like it ending on the song Dissolution.
Yeah,
That's a bad call. That's
Yeah,
a bad call.
I mean,
I think like they should have put it in the middle or
yeah.
something.
There we go. I think that's what I said in the review. Is like it's not a bad song. It's just an odd place to
It's-
end.
It's just a weird spot to end because it's killer. It starts to end, or the flow starts to ebb a little bit, and it ends on Dissolution, which is just not a good track to end on.
I mean, like honestly, the song transcending horror. Like I thought, like that's a good closing point right there.
Exactly. It could have ended on that. I'll be right back.
Now, who are you talking about?
The new Temple of Void.
Oh yeah, good album. Good album.
I liked it. I don't think it's as good as The World It Was, but I think it's really good still.
I think it's in the same vein of it, more or less. I just like it's a little more
Peace Philly.
yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. Yeah.
It does. Like, I mean, I've been picking up more like My Dying Bride and What I'm Missing from Paradise Lost and early Catatonia. It has that sound, like 100%. Like a little bit of like US old school death metal mixed in there too.
Hang on, Devin just jumped on. I'll hang on one sec, right?
Okay.
I want to see if I can get him the link.
All right.
I just ran in. I had a problem. Like I lost my bong. I'm like, where's my bong? I can't find it anywhere.
Someone break in and steal my bong? Wait, am I high?
I was like, oh, there you are. I live in a state now where it's legal, so
Oh,
I'm just kind of like, okay.
I mean,
We're
right.
only legal for medical, but that doesn't stop me.
Same. Well, we're right by Michigan though, so
Is Michigan
I'm
legal? Oh, that's right, Michigan's legal, right?
yeah, it's 20 minutes. Dude, fucking John will show up with like a whole bunch of pre-rolls he got from across the border. It's like, look at this.
Now, when he goes over there, is he allowed to buy it as an out of state?
Yeah, dude, they'll sell to fucking anyone.
So they don't really give a shit. Yeah.
Nah.
It's like here you're limited if you don't live in the state of Illinois, then you can only buy a certain amount,
Okay.
and then just leaving out of state, it's kind
You
of
know, my
Is it legal there?
yeah.
in 2017 to 18, I had the medical thing here because we were trying to get a fix on why I was having all this abdominal pain. They couldn't fucking test after test, couldn't figure it out. Turns out they fucked up in their diagnosis. But anyways, long story short, I tried that out as opposed to taking like opiates or tramadol or stuff like that, And I have to be honest with you, I wasn't much of a pot smoker back as a teen. I did a bit of it, but I wasn't that stoner kid in high school or in middle school. It was rare for me. And right, exactly. Now I'm the stoner and you're not smoking, but
Yep.
But I mean, it's like I bought the stuff and it was like I started finding I was dropping a lot of money, man. I was just like, holy shit. Like, did I really go through that whole, quarter or something? Like, how'd that happen?
Well, no, sorry.
But I was just going to say that I finally got to the point where my renewal was coming up and I had to do I think it was the appointment with the doctor. And there's only one doctor in the area that can sign off on this. Apparently there's only certain doctors in cities that can and are licensed. And I I was like, man, I really don't want to spend $400 out of pocket because it's not a coverable medical expense. I'll get by, I'll figure something out. And I will say though that I get homegrown, or I don't know what, I guess it's homegrown from the guy upstairs. First couple buds I got from him were pretty good. I was getting some really nice buzzes. I'm noticing now I'm not, either my tolerance is going way up over the last 2 or 3 months, or because I'm just not getting as high. So maybe I need to get the medical thing. I don't know.
Well, it's also too. It's like because here in Chicago, it's like they talk about because I'm new. I've only lived here for 6 months, and they're like, "Oh, it's get it from a dispensary," and they claim about how it's government regulated, so it's that much more. It's pure and all that. And then I realized, the government regulated stuff is crap. Like the stuff that you get off of like some college kid that's laced with whatever is
Dude,
that's
Chris,
the
are you
really
still
good
buying from
stuff.
dealers that you're telling me?
Like I want the stuff that's laced with something, or because that's the regular stuff that's government regulated. It's the weakest potency, and they're like, oh, this is Delta 8 or this is Delta 9, and they give you this whole spiel about whatever, and you smoke it. It's like this is nothing. Like where's
Well,
I want the chronic,
Yeah, I don't
get
know.
any of the deltas, man. The Delta 8s and the Delta 9s suck. They're like a body
and
high.
that's all they
They're
have
like
here. Like Delta 10, I think is the most potent.
yeah, that's some
But
ass,
they do have
bro.
edibles like gummies and all that, and those are weird. And I kind of just wish I
But,
could just get like a bag off of some college kid that's laced
Dude,
with
try,
crack. or
try to get
whatever.
that, man.
I do want to try some edibles. I've not tried those before, and I hear it's a
I
different
love
kind
edibles,
of a high
bro.
than smoking. What's that?
I love edibles. They are because it's so much
like a
more of an
body high.
experience. It is,
It's like body high, yeah.
and it just creeps up. It's like a
But when
fucking
it's
creepy
government
bastard.
regulated, it's different. It's weaker, and it's not anywhere near as fun. Like, yeah.
It's the sketchiest and most paranoid highs I've had have been from edible high
Oh, really?
for sure. In fact, Chris, remember that time we went up to Asheville to see we went to see Weed Eater up there?
Yeah.
I took an edible right before we went up there, and during my edible high, I was like paranoid that the hotel clerk that we were gonna go to, we're gonna be like, "You're definitely high. I can tell you're high.
You're high, man.
You're not coming into my hotel right now.
Those are great. Those are
You
those,
get out of my hotel. You're high."
they're awful.
This
but
is
they're
like 3
so
days
great.
before we actually went up there.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're gonna actually know that. Like, for
Like
sure.
they're gonna like piss in this cup.
What?
Like-
You can't do that, man. Dude, John
that
actually he found.
that was cool because we went to the pinball museum. That
Yes.
you went to see Weed Eater. I couldn't get in because they were sold out.
You were
So I
too
went back to the
stoned,
hotel, and that was the night when like I kept farting. Like when you got to the hotel, and I was farting really loud.
Wait a minute.
Welcome to the friendship, guys. It's
The
it's
most-
motherfucker's a farter.
The most surprising part of that, all those revelations, many of which are astounding. Let's just be honest.
Amen.
Was the fact that Weed Eater sold someplace out. That's what I'm trying to.
I've seen
Listen,
them so many times.
in North Carolina, they're fucking royalty. You got.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
All right,
North
tell
Carolina,
the
they're
truth. Tell the
royalty.
truth. This was like an old Stuckey's like parking lot. Phone
Dude,
booth,
this
right?
was middle of downtown Asheville, North Carolina, where your daughter lives. They Weed Eater sold out this venue.
No shit.
And it was the one concert I was falling asleep during, and I left in the middle of
Because you were stoned.
I was stoned and drunk out of my mind.
This
Man Chris over here,
Yeah.
we got there at like 2 p.m., started drinking and smoking, and just went until the concert at like 10 p.m. and it was
Oh Jesus, you were cooked.
I was cooked. I was baked. I did as long as I could, but I was falling asleep in the middle of Weed Eater's set, and I love Weed Eater.
I'm
But
trying to remember back.
could not cut it.
You know, as I said, I didn't do a lot of pot smoking in my, real young years and even into my teenage years. And then when I say I didn't do a lot, what I mean by that is that I wasn't stoned most of high school, or I wasn't, I had some times I imbibed, but it was, in a year, it was a handful of times. Whereas, drinking probably by the time I got to high school was more than a handful of times if I could get away with
Yeah.
it. Drinking was always my drug of choice back then. But I do remember a couple of, I remember, man, no lie. I was in seventh grade, and my buddy Trey Brizendine and I, he was like the long hair in class, and he was like the dude that I like he was like my acolyte, he was like the other way around. I was his acolyte, he was like the Pied Piper, and I was like, yeah, this dude's cool. I'm good. He has super long hair. I'm gonna hang out with this guy, he knows rock music, man. He's got to be cool.
Was he a
And-
Kiss fan?
Probably, I can't remember. But I remember him.
Venom,
I remember.
everything.
Well, I remember him coming over to my house, and I lived in the woods, pretty deep out in the back end of a subdivision, and behind my house was a pond and a fucking creek, a pretty major creek. It was, anyways. So he's like, dude, let's go for a walk. I'm like, yeah, we'll go later. He's like, no, let's go for a walk, man. I'm like, oh, okay. You want to go down by the creek? Yeah, let's go down by the creek. So we go down by the creek. I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, bro, man, let's try to get. And my mom, this is around my mom. He's like, I was trying to get us out of the house so we could smoke some weed. So we go down and we smoke. We fire up this dude, right? I fucking was hallucinating. This is 1979, right? I was back in the day, way back in the 70s. There was Puff the Magic Dragon. You guys remember that song?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Magic Dragon. So there was a cartoon.
By the sea.
Oh, Blue by the Sea. That's it.
There was a cartoon version of it.
Yep.
And the cartoon was this big roly-poly, fluffy sort of dragon that was sort of goofy looking, kind of innocuous, not scary or anything, right? But what started happening was I'm sitting there talking to Trey, and suddenly my high starts kicking in. And I'm like, and all I see is he's looking at me. He's like, "What's the matter, man?" I'm like, "What the fuck, man?" I'm like, his face kept turning into Puff the Magic Dragon's face.
Wow.
Why the long face?
Why the long face? Yeah, no, but it was like, man, I mean, it literally took him an hour of walking me around in the woods out in the middle of nowhere, get me to try to calm the fuck down because I was like basically tripping balls. God knows what was on this stuff back then. Who knows? It just might have been great fucking weed from right over the Mexican border,
Could
probably,
be.
because I lived in Texas then. But yeah, those were the good old days. Like, it turns out, like, later on when I was like, this shit's nothing compared to that stuff I was smoking back then as a 12-year-old.
See,
13-year-old.
I think it depends. Like, so they have pens now, right? Which are like an automatic concentrated dosage
Oh,
of THC. So one time I went to my girlfriend's so she's like in academia in a college, right? So I went to her academic function with all of her like professors and everything. All there are all these teachers and stuff in college.
Right.
And I was just like the fucking plus one basically. But like her main boss, the husband of her, is a big pothead. And in the past, every time I've gone there, he's always like brought me down to like the basement. We smoked like a joint and then got back
Nice.
up and just had a great time, And this last time, he didn't have a joint. He had a pen with like concentrated THC, and he's like, "This shit, he's gonna get you good." And I took one hit from that, and I became the most paranoid motherfucker I've ever been. I was all of a sudden just like catatonic. I couldn't talk to anybody. I was just so stuck up in my own head. I left the whole party and just sat out in the yard like an awkward piece of shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was gonna say
It was,
that. No,
it was just a total disaster.
it's like
It was just a never do it again. Never
like,
do it again.
it's like the Harold and Kumar thing, man. I mean, good lord, dude, you
I was
just went
just-
out and
Yeah.
isolated yourself away from everyone.
This is what I mean. I was like, all right, I can't be among people. What should I do? I should go out away from people. And so no one notices
Did
me.
your girlfriend know this?
She,
know what was
yeah,
up?
she knew I was high.
Ah,
Thankfully, she got me out and drove me home. And the whole time in the car that I drove there and she drove back for me, I was just like,
well, I'll tell you what.
I
Here's a
was
funny.
I was whacked, dude.
Here's a funny but not funny
it was
story.
not good.
Serge a couple weeks ago.
Mm.
He kind of, we usually keep in touch once a week or thereabouts. And I hadn't heard from him for like 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, you okay, man? I haven't heard from you. He's like, yeah, I'm just in a kind of a really weird place. And I was like, well, what happened? What's going on? He's like, well, I just did something terribly fucking unlike me. He's like, I took an edible before I went to this fair with my wife and my baby. Because the only other time I'd done an edible before, it was pretty mellow the last time I did one. But this time, I guess I didn't read the right dosage things, or he said he took 2. I can't remember. Anyway, apparently he fucking literally just wigged out. Like he ended up in the ER, and
Holy
I'm like-
shit.
I'm like, dude, really? I'm like, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm never gonna take one of them again, man. And he's like, I'm not set up for that. I'm like, yeah, dude, listen, you overdid it there. But I said, you also put yourself into a weird situation, like go into a public place where there's a lot of people when you're doing more than you've ever done before.
Well, this is what happens when you overdo it and you're in public once, and then you have that like moment of
Anxiety.
realization.
It
Then
carries
after
over.
that, you can't do it at all, because then every time that's what you think about.
Yes,
yeah.
I think you have to slowly defeat it, because for me, it started. I was a part of a bachelor party like months before I went to that thing that I talked about, and they were all doing LSD and stuff, and I only did
Oh,
weed, and I felt so inadequate during their LSD trips, and I was just I was just high, and it just carried over to the next thing and then the next thing, and now I'm just trying to build my tolerance or my social. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like my confidence in my high self back up. I guess that
There were
to be
times
around other
when,
people.
like, when I ate a pot brownie and then I went out in public around people, and I'm like, I can't believe I did that, because I can't even do that solo anymore. Yeah.
we the only time I ever was around, I know what you're saying, Logan. Only like I was around friends that once dropped acid once.
Yeah.
That I was around, and I'm like, they're like, you want some? I'm like, no fucking way. I just knew that was like not for me, just because I just knew it was. I knew that was going to be dangerous. In that, if I had even a remotely scary trip, I might end up in jumping off a fucking bridge. So I didn't want to go that route. Now, Nick, we've talked about the mushrooms thing before, and as I said, microdosing would have been something I think I would have done if my health was better than where I'm at now. But just to try it, because it's always something I kind of wanted to try, but I was way too afraid to just get, I would have had to have done it in a tiny little bit,
It's also like the frame of mind too. Like you're gonna carry into your trip whatever you got on you. And if you're harboring like some negative shit, like it's got a good chance of following you.
Well, and
I-
that's the other
I
thing we
s-
talked about was that I'm a naturally anxious person, so that's a little bit of a scary thing. Like even the first couple of times I smoked weed, I think I had a lot of really intense responses or reaction to it
Mhm.
over what normal people would, simply because I'm kind of a hyperactive and anxious person. And you know,
See, and that's why I like a joint or like a more controlled amount of weed. Is you're able to confront it as it comes on. You know, if that makes sense. Like
I
the
don't know.
anxiety and stuff, you're able to confront it and like
Apparently, John has found
enjoy
these
it.
psilocybin chocolate bars. They're actually
Mhm.
like segmented, and
right?
so yeah, like one
I would enjoy
square
that probably.
is a like a micro dose essentially.
Yeah.
And
He
so
just
yeah,
got
man,
them, you mean?
he's got them. He said he's gonna like bring me one time. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna fucking put down like what do they say is this a good fucking amount? I'll do that.
When's the last time you did mushrooms?
God,
When
did
you
I
were
do
out?
it after I got back from Chris's
Chris's?
place? It might have just been Chris's. Like
And that was
that's
last
over a
summer,
year.
right? Yeah, a year
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
yeah, over a year ago.
Wow. Damn, I didn't realize that. So it was just more of a you don't really seek them out.
No. It's
Yeah.
it's like a every now and then sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got them.
So mushrooms are incredible, and I
still have to do-
absolutely
I have not
like
done
I
any.
haven't done mushrooms in probably 7 years, and the last couple times that I did them, I had to control it because I knew that if it went downward, then it was going to be really bad. But I still love like the mushroom, the visuals,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the euphoria too. Like you just get giggly. Like
Yeah.
you follow one giggle and then you're fucking done for. And you're just like, I'm just giggling like an idiot. But it just keeps releasing endorphins. And the more you laugh and shit like that, it squeezes the fucking blood vessels and keeps pumping the shit through your body. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, oh, you're gonna trip harder, now you're giggling like a fucking idiot. But yeah, like visuals, like I mean, if I get them, that's awesome. But mostly, it's the euphoria and that sort of like fun body high too that comes with it. I don't know. That's what I like.
Like the visuals for me were just like saturation of
Yeah,
colors,
I got some matrixing, like some really because I remember
With the
where shit would start like coming together in like symmetrical patterns and shit. Like I remember because we was here, it was like one of my buddies. It was his first time ever tripping, and it's like, well, don't worry, man, I got you. I'll be your Sherp up the mountain. I mean, I'll also be a fucking giggling mess, but I got you. And I remember coming downstairs because they were hanging out down here, and they were just talking. I remember just looking at the floor. It was like, y'all see that like fucking snowflake like pattern? It's always like, no. Well, oh yeah, no. But yeah, like you'd see things matrix, and then of course out of your peripheral vision, you'd see like a shadow sort of do a little bit of movement. But yeah, those are the only visuals I really get.
Mhm.
That
How,
meal
so
light
how,
is
how
very
does music factor in to the mushroom trip at all? That's the
Well,
question. Like,
okay,
do you want to
so-
listen to music, or is it just like no?
depends.
mushrooms are great for music, and like when I would eat shrooms, and especially with my like headphones and having really good headphones, dude, it was amazing. Like
Yeah.
absolutely, it depends. Like, I mean, like right now where I live, I can play my music as loud as I want and all that, but through headphones, oh yeah, shrooms are really good for that. I
Like,
listen to
what
so
kind of-
much like, and
what
I've
kind of
never
music?
been into Sun Om, and like all of that.
Which tour dates,
Greg
by the way?
Anderson, like all the Southern Ward type of stuff.
Yeah.
who's the dude running that show?
Stephen O'Malley and
Stephen
Greg.
O'Malley. Yeah,
Greg
like all of that really super drony stuff.
Mhm.
I was never into that, and the same with even like Japanese noise, like Merzbow and stuff. I
Yeah.
was never into that. But if you're super stoned and you have good headphones on and you listen to it, it sounds totally different. And it's like, okay, you hear the layers of noise or the layers of samples and the depth of everything where it's totally different. Like shrooms and music are an awesome combination.
I think we ended up watching and listening to a bunch of Primus stuff just because it was
Oh.
Primus.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like,
I
dude,
bet that
like,
would be
oh,
awesome.
dude, the music videos were fucking nuts. Like when I got down to
Yeah.
Tommy the Cat, and like, I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I told
Or
you the dudes I was hanging out with that were doing shrooms that night. We were watching Back to the Future. We just kept watching that part with the diorama over and over and over, where they got the little car on the racetrack and it's tripping the wire, and Marty's gonna do that, and it falls off the track and catches fire, and Marty goes, or not Marty, what's his name? Professor, what's his name?
Doc Brown.
Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Doc goes,
Doc.
we just kept rewinding that spot over and over. It was, VHS obviously back then. I bet you we watched that like 40 fucking times in a row. And the thing was that those two guys that were tripping on shrooms were laughing so hard that they were making me laugh to the point where I was literally like crying. So they were crying. And then
It's
like
just
I
a
was not
vicious
high on
cycle.
shrooms. I was just drunk, but I was like laughing so fucking hard at them laughing, man. It was insane.
Dude,
We just kept watching the same thing over and over and over.
One of the biggest laughing fits I had, and it was a combination of things in terms of like shrooms. Like my buddy and I years ago did these at my old place, and we were looking for something to watch, and we had it was my other buddies, my roommates. He had this like 8-pack DVD collection of shitty kung fu movies, and they were really the greatest thing. Like the dubbing was awful, and like whenever they would do like a hit like this, it'd be like boop. And we were losing our shit. But the side effect to the shrooms is occasionally you'll get like horrible fucking gas. Because I mean, you're giving yourself food poisoning.
Aren't you supposed to get that in the beginning? That
it depends. Because we got it's this batch started off with like, dude, my guts are fucking on fire, and like we were kind of like,
point,
dude.
right?
We didn't puke, but like we kept feeling it. A little bit later, it's like I think it's kind of moving through. I think we're all right. And then towards the middle of the fucking trip, like all of a sudden, constant farts.
So
and
here's a question: would you mix? So, because I've never done shrooms, I want to soon. Would you mix alcohol at all with shrooms?
There's really no point because
No.
at that point, like it's just like because if you're taking like good shrooms, like that's the thing you want to feel, and alcohol will kind of I think dull it a little bit. Like you're gonna want to drink and taste things anyway because again your senses are kind of alive. Like
I think it kind of depends too on which you take first, because you could take, like I've been on shrooms and I'll sit here and drink beer all fucking night long, like where I'm just like whatever, or even anything else, kind of just like anything that's like a mushroom or whatever, but I'll drink all night, and I'm just like I'm oblivious to what I'm doing. So it's I don't think it's good to mix, because mixing leads to bad experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think like a bad trip could come from it? Because like this, like I feel like alcohol might diminish the negative effects of, like you wouldn't notice the bad parts.
Well,
like stomach issue wise, I mean.
Well, I mean, like that the stomach issue thing isn't always a thing. Like it, because I mean, shrooms.
I hear it a lot though. Like with shrooms.
I don't like mostly, honestly, when you'll know when it's kicking in
Yeah.
like in terms of the feeling of your body starting to digest, because it's more like a little adrenaline rush. Like you kind of feel like you just kind of like going down a hill on the highway or something like that. You kind of went a little fast, like ooh, like it's that sort of feeling, and it just keeps keeps growing and growing. But
Wow.
in terms of like, I only had one batch where I've had like legit like, oh god, fucking guts. But
Yeah. Like, how do you
I
make
think
sure you're going to a good trip? Like,
like
that
no, you
mindset, like,
the mindset is just keep laughing, keep having a good time. Like once you get like the whole, because euphoria is kind of the main feeling, but
mhm.
you kind of keep it like I think laughter is like the best way. Like as soon as you see something dumb and silly, just one giggle that'll
So
set you free.
I'm gonna watch The Water Boy by Adam Sandler.
There you
There
go.
you go.
I think we watched Basketball one time, and it was
Oh,
fucking hilarious.
Oh,
Again, here, give me
Wait,
a
who
second.
was in that? Who was in that?
dude, the
Basket.
South
Oh,
Park
Trey Parker,
guys.
Matt Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever saw that one.
Oh, it's Zucker Brothers and South Park humor. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, right.
Be right back.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Devin. I said, hey, why don't you jump in? Logan said nobody's watching in case you don't want to be
Yeah.
seen with us.
Literally
Uncool.
0 people.
So Jeff,
Yo,
let me ask you, man. You've been doing your streams for a while. Like, what inspired you to start doing like live streams?
well, I mean, what inspired me to kind of get into the YouTube thing was, did you ever hear of Sea of Tranquility? Pete Pardo?
Yeah.
I
The
love
guy from
Sea of
Long
Tranquility.
Island.
Yeah. So I started watching him in like 2019, I guess it was. Maybe mid 2019, maybe early 2019. I don't remember. And the more, the more I watched, the more I dug down into it. And I started like really not watching TV anymore.
Yeah.
Hardly, other than maybe movies, Blu-rays. I just never watched cable TV. I actually even got rid of my cable. And I watching him, I'm like, I could do this. And then, then I'd watch some stuff and I'd be like, this is more work than I want to get into. Or I don't, right now, because of my living situation, I don't have the most easiest collection to access. I've got like 4,000 CDs, but I have them bundled up in about 35 boxes all over the house because I really don't have a place to put them. Not like I live with my father, my 82-year-old father. I take care of him. And so it's just the way it worked out. It's just the way it worked out. But I think it was actually like around March of 2020. I was clipping around and I saw Ben Brain Smasher. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I watched a little bit of his thing, and then I noticed that they were doing these Friday night hangs, these live streams. And it was him and Marty Worm and Eric Bauer and Pat from
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero Salem, Jason Hook. Let's get into it. So there was like 5 or 6 guys, and then they started to include other people that were in the chats. And I just started hanging out every Friday night, like, getting to meet people and meeting people in the chat, and little bit by little bit, eventually I think Marty kind of convinced me in 21 to, dude, you have a big collection. You got a pretty deep knowledge of a lot of different genres, and, your metal pretty good. Why don't you do this? And I just kind of did it. Now, if you'll note one thing about my situation is that I don't have a lot of top flight gear right now. I have a medical situation that's he doesn't know, does he?
I've
I
heard
haven't seen
you
anything.
talk
I mean,
about like
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've watched other streams of yours.
I have
like you've talked about it
Yeah, I have a terminal
time to time.
neurological condition that's gonna
Yeah.
probably kill me in the next couple months, actually. Which is fucked
Hmm.
up, and I don't know how else to talk about it. I can't just like it is what it is. I've been really, 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 really sliding ever since about May, and I really am not doing well the last couple of weeks. But and you know, prior to knowing that something terrible was going on, I had some pretty big plans that I was going to do all kind of stuff with, getting back to work after COVID because I was out of work for a number of reasons, medical and otherwise, and trying to get back to work and trying to get, a new laptop or get my laptop that I have fixed. It's not even an old laptop. It's just the screen popped off. So of course now the argument is why I can't find you a new one. It's just going to cost too much. You should just go buy a new one. So easy for them to say, but anyways, long story short, I really wanted to get into doing more episodic type, videos. But as it turned out for me, the thing that I kind of dug the most was doing these deep dives on catalogs and then doing them live with a good panel of people joining me and talking about why they like these albums, what they like about them, what's important about them, what production on them, all that kind of stuff. So it's just being a nerd, being a mega nerd. But
I'm into that.
but I would say that Pete was the first impetus. Ben and Marty were kind of the second, and
Ken,
nah, Ken never did much for me for a couple of reasons. One, Ken wasn't even doing video for the longest time. He was just posting
Well,
demos.
Ken's been posting shit for years.
No,
he
but
When he
always did
started
like
doing
bootlegs and stuff.
He on camera he's nervous and
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't.
you
He
know
wasn't. He wasn't doing on camera stuff until late in 2020 when Marty.
was-
COVID. COVID
It was
is,
that
is
initial
when everything
stream.
started.
Right.
Like
Right.
for Ken, honestly, Ken, he was one of the first ones I started watching, and I love his live streams. I wish he would do them again. And I can tell he's nervous, and he just part of it too is like you could tell he was talking to where he's like he's been listening to death metal for decades, and you could tell like
Yeah.
you're
Right.
interviewing someone who has been in a band for a month and has been
Right.
listening to death metal for 6 months, and you're pretending to act interested in something they have to say. I get that completely.
One of
Yeah,
the
I mean-
best memories with him though was him in Analog Archives. Like that keeps
Oh,
coming up.
God, that was insane, dude.
That was so funny.
The Zeisma demo.
The size, but
Zeisma
how much?
demo. I'll give you that. What the hell was it? Necro. What the fuck was
Oh,
the
I don't
he
know.
was looking for? Necro Lord or something. I can't remember what he was looking
Yeah.
for.
Necrophilic
And
Records.
then Ken's like over there hunting around drunk for this tape, and he realizes he must have gave it to somebody else.
I hope Ken has his crypt insured for plenty of money.
Yeah, I
It's like I
That's
hope
the
he has
best.
a lot of insurance on that.
Man, that rivals Nick's over here, by the way. Ken's.
I think that's a backdrop. That just looks like a backdrop.
You think that's
I
a
don't think
backdrop?
that's real.
You think?
well, here's
You
the
think you could just take it all
Alright.
down in one swipe, just pop it
Here's
all
the-
down?
Or
wait.
like-
Who are we
like-
talking about? Who are we talking about? Nick.
Nick over here, the
All right, here's the
fucking
sad part,
picture perfect backdrop.
dude. That's you haven't seen. Okay, I'm gonna ask him to do something. He doesn't usually like to do. But
Please do. Tell him to shift the camera.
Well,
to
no, I'm
the-
gonna ask him to walk around the corner and see if he'll
That
do
would-
it for me.
it looks very sterile.
Please
Like
do.
it looks like you're in an Apple store shopping
Yeah,
for
you're-
music.
You're only seeing about maybe 35%.
Jeff has
Okay.
seen behind
I have seen behind
behind
the
the curtain.
door. Yeah, behind the curtain.
Do
yeah.
not look behind the curtain.
and it's
It still it looks very sterile. It doesn't have that
It
man
kinda
cave
does.
feel to it.
It kind of does. I don't know if I vibe with all of Nick's stuff
All right,
that
Nick,
he has. It looks
before you
very
get too
fake.
comfy. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor.
Oh no!
Come on, Nick.
It doesn't mean you have to.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna pull it out,
You
Jeff.
don't- you
Jesus
don't have to-
Christ!
You don't have to pull your pants down again. I promise.
Crouch down.
All right. Are you on your laptop?
No, I'm on my computer at home.
Oh, you're on your desktop
Yes.
where you're at. Oh shit. Okay. Then you can't
What's the-
show us then. I
What's
thought
the
you were on your
camera?
laptop.
What's the camera?
Well, they're talking about they think that's fake behind you. I'm like, you're only seeing about 35% of what's actually
Yeah. This
there.
is.
Come on,
Let's see.
Nick.
Hold on
What's the
here.
rest? Where's the rest?
A through D, E, F.
Okay, so where's the rest?
In another room over here,
What does that look like?
which is everything else. D, E, F through Z. That's
And that
like
room is shelves from basically floor to ceiling, if I recall
Not
correct.
well. There's a good chunk of shelves like this, but there's a couple of sets of floor to ceiling ones,
Right.
and
Like so are
one
you in a
is completely
basement?
full. The other one's working on it.
Are you in
Yeah.
a basement? Like
Yep.
what's the okay?
But I
No,
mean,
this
you
stuff-
know,
It's a split level, so half basement.
okay.
you know,
So
you're
is all
talking
your
about
stuff,
oh, sorry.
your collection, is it all
So
in like
so
the
split
basement
level, you're one building but split in half with two.
Yeah, we got a short staircase down to like a half basement, and then up is the main floor. I still have an attic, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, but they were talking about Ken, and we were talking about Ken's insane
Oh yeah.
nutty collection, and I mean, it is like that guy's shit is just insane. Now, are there other collectors that are like him? Yeah, there are.
Ooh.
I know a few of them, but not personally. I know of them, and it's it's weird because I'm actually 5 years older than Ken. Ken's only 50, and I remember very well a lot of these albums coming out and being at my local record store back in the 80s and 90s.
Dude.
And I just wasn't into the music at the time. Otherwise, I probably would have had a Battery Yellow or
Yeah.
if I'd have been into the music at the time, original OG presses and stuff like that. I wasn't
is
into
such
that type of music.
He's such
What's
an
that?
old head. Like I remember because he was part of that stream with Marty and Alan. It was 1984, his favorite year of heavy metal. He's such an
Right.
old, like I don't know. That's his favorite year. 84.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, he's
like even
That's
before,
awesome.
like even before death metal was even a thing. Like
he
you
was
know,
probably
fucking possessed.
in 84. I think he was probably in middle school. He was probably in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
7th, 8th grade, and that's when
It's
the
just-
bug kind of bit him,
hmm
And I mean, he's got crazy stuff. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, and it's gonna swing around, guys. It just is. But right now, or in the last couple years, maybe last 5 or 6 years, all that original vinyl, original pressing stuff got real hot.
Yeah.
I believe it's gonna.
I'm ready for it to swing back then.
I think it's gonna go down. I just do.
I've not been buying vinyl like I've used to because of that. It's just too
It's
too much.
stupid. Yeah, it's stupid.
much.
And the sad thing is that, yes, there are, for Nick and I in particular, there are some CDs, original press CDs that, are not easy to find, and they're not, they're kind of sought after, and you can do well with some of that stuff. But it's not
What's the
like it's not like the vinyl is catching fire and going
What's the
crazy.
most you're gonna pay though for like that? $20?
Well,
25?
I don't know. I mean, like, for example, if you have the OG combat presses of like Scream Bloody Gore, it's $70-$80. Or if you have the relapse triple
Yeah.
CDs like I do, they're in the 125, 150 range. If you
wow.
if you have the Dead Can Dance Japanese MoFis like that I have that I didn't even realize I have and forgot I had, they're about 150 a pop. And there will
Maybe
be
that's
people that
it.
would want to
Mhm.
buy those. Are they going to buy them for 150 a pop though? Probably not.
No,
If they're smart, they're not going to come out and say, "Hey man, what do you want? 150 a pop for these?" Yeah, I'll give you 175. That's how it happens.
You're a shrewd negotiator, sir. 200 it is. Okay, but that's the size it goes.
Okay, that's a go. It's go time.
See,
But
with
yeah, I
CDs,
mean,
yeah.
what's up? What's up?
I was gonna say with CDs, at least record stores, they are not fully catching on to all of that.
How do you mean?
Like you can still go into record stores and most of their CDs are less than used, especially less than $10, $5.
Yeah,
They'll
you're
have
not.
dollar CDs. That's why I love. Oh,
We lost.
look, what do I
Lost
do? What do I do?
I don't know.
Okay. He was about to say something. I don't know. All I know. All right, here. I'll pull up some examples of what I was trying to say. So, I was up in Michigan for some reason for work a couple weeks ago, and I went to the best record store. Unfortunately, like I'm fucking there. I flew there. I can't fucking take records back because I have to buy a fucking extra bag. So I'm buying CDs. And look at this fucking CD I found.
Oh, Eternus.
Eternus, dude. And So the Night Becomes. And I've seen this one hyped. Like a whole bunch. All right, let's see.
Sorry,
Jeff, are you back?
I kicked
What?
myself out. I don't know what
Okay.
I hit.
So I
When,
just
like-
had to click you back in.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I was
No,
trying to
that was me.
So here's some solid CDs I got for like $10. That this is like the max I would pay for. Eternus, $10 for this. And then, do you know Mind Rot?
I've heard of Mind Rot.
I've
Yeah.
heard that. Yeah.
The
Yeah, they were
Dawning.
on Relapse, weren't they?
Yeah, dude, this is a Relapse band. And do you know Destroy Judas?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh, you probably like them. So these guys became, or a couple of the members became the band Destroy Judas, and like very adventurous sludge doom, like little folky metal for sure. Like this stuff's awesome right here.
Jeff wanted me to let you know that he was backstage.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm backstage. Just let
Just got
okay,
that-
okay. Let me give me a second. I gotta let Jeff in.
Now, what was I saying before I bailed out? I was talking about.
We were talking about CDs and stuff, and real quick
Well,
about fucking. Look at this.
Yeah, and what I was gonna get at though was
Oh,
like
Samel.
Yeah,
you said, a
and this
lot of
is
these
the
places
weird- this is the
don't know
weird
what
one.
they're getting.
This is
What's the matter with it?
it's eternal. It's After Passage.
Never heard of them.
No, well,
Samel?
it's Semel, but it's their album Eternal. After
Oh.
Passage. It's weird.
Hmm.
It's like very. Have you listened to this one, Nick?
I don't own that one. I definitely have Passage. I prefer the first two. Well, first three. Ceremony Opposites is really good too.
This one makes me think of the Dark Path. Fucking Matt. Because he.
yeah.
Yeah, he did a deep dive into these guys, and this is when they started going very industrial in their sound. This was like the initial industrial album, I think.
Passage was pretty industrial too, but I think I've heard that one.
Yeah. Passage probably started it, and this just kept going. And this is a good album for sure. And then this is one that I sold and rebought back in Michigan.
Oh, dude, great album. I have the special 2-disc one.
How do you get that?
I bought it brand new. I haven't seen it anywhere.
What the fuck? How do you get that new? Like, because I don't think I've ever heard
Is
or
that type?
seen.
What album is that?
Dude, Degradation Trip.
I'm a-
Jerry Cantrell.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't heard it.
I mean,
One of
it's-
his solo albums, man. Yeah, that's the double one right there.
Jeff knows this one.
Yeah, because I remember from your deep dive you guys did, you had that one or talked about it. But man,
Yeah.
this shit's fucking awesome right here.
It's even got the old promo sticker on it too.
It does, yeah, it does. Got this for like $4, I think. But Psychotic Break, Anger Rising, Angel Eyes.
Oh, I love Angel Eyes.
Yeah, that's an awesome song.
Was that a used bin?
Yes.
song?
Oh, of course.
So, like, since
It's got the
okay,
promo
so in
sticker
Charlotte,
right there.
So in Charlotte, Manifest Disc closed, which was one of the largest music stores
Yep.
for that in that region since the early '90s. So now that Manifest is closed, where are you shopping for music?
Dude, I'm still seeing Manifest at Goodwill. I'm pretty sure because I've been finding a bunch of great Goodwill albums and stuff.
Oh, so like the
Look,
price tags.
Look at this. Look at this.
But
You
York,
know,
Yeah. hmm
I found this at Goodwill just like a day ago. And
So all of their overstock, they
That's-
probably just donated. Yeah.
Yep, $5, and that's from Manifest right there. Got it for actually 50 cents. I got this from Goodwill.
Manifest was there's
It was the shit.
because Morbid Angel are from Charlotte, and there's a picture on the internet of them where I think it's David Vincent is wearing like a crop top, like how they would wear T-shirts that were cut off at the shoulders, but then also cut off at right up above their abdomen.
Oh
Like
boy.
a belly shirt, and he's wearing a belly shirt with like Pit Viper sunglasses, and it's a Manifest Discs and Tapes shirt that he's wearing. It's like and it's just hilarious because Manifest was such a great store, but then it just
Where was that at?
It
Manifest.
was in
Charlotte,
Okay.
Greensboro. Well, the last two, they were all over the southeast, but then, at the
I only know
peak,
the Charlotte one.
they were sold to FYE, like they were privately held,
Oh.
and then they were sold to FYE, and then from
Oh.
there, it just immediately went downhill.
Garbage.
Maybe why you recognize these stickers.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
God.
that's the FYE stickers for sure.
Man,
That's
We had
Bjork.
radio
Is that
play.
Bjork?
Their
York.
used bin was
Yeah, I
incredible,
got this
though.
from Goodwill. We were saying that they closed down, and I've been seeing these guys, not
Okay.
Bjork, but just the stickers and stuff on
Oh,
various
right,
albums and stuff
Right.
at Goodwill's because I don't think they knew what else to do with the dead stock that they had.
Oh,
Like,
probably.
In
Yeah.
just
Charlotte,
shipped it. They just shipped it. I've been benefiting.
this place was so huge. Like in Charlotte, their store was an old Kroger from like the 1950s.
Oh fuck. Holy
Dude.
Yeah.
hell.
It was
It was
I
an
would
old
warehouse.
school grocery store. That was
was a
the
warehouse.
entire, like the size of the entire place.
and
That's fucking large, man. I
dude,
mean,
I'll
the
tell
biggest
you,
biggest place I've ever been is Amoeba out in L.A. That was a
Right.
massive
Yeah.
place. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that was
never been there.
And the only other, I think the other place I was at, there was a place down in Chicago, kind of down by the Park West.
Well,
A
Chris,
pretty
you're out in
sizable,
Chicago.
a sizable. What's that?
Chris is out in Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I was
I've
saying.
only been to one record store so far.
Oh, okay.
Meteor Gem. That's it.
Oh, you went to
Oh.
Meteor Gem.
I
Yeah.
follow them,
Hey,
man. on
I'm gonna
Instagram.
jump out because I'm starting to get sleepy.
Are you taking off, dude?
Yeah, but dude, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to talk and show off some cool fucking shit.
Hi, bro.
Yeah, I'll catch y'all later, man.
Cheers,
See ya.
man.
All right, man.
See ya.
Nick,
Peace.
good meeting you.
Yeah, Meteor Gem. They have pretty good online
Yeah.
distro. I mean, he's He's
The
updating
dude running the
constantly.
place too, definitely a cool dude, and
Is he?
I want to go there more. It's tough moving somewhere and getting settled in and being lazy and all that. So
Yeah, of course. You guys had your pussycats earlier. I guess I went and snagged mine.
Oh, they
You
were.
see him?
Yep, I see him.
What? What's the matter?
Who's he?
Foo. F-U. But not the F-U.
Very
Like,
apt.
well, no, he's got a little Fu Manchu, so he's got a pretty cool, that's where it came
Oh
from. It wasn't fuck you, believe it or
man,
not.
Fu Manchu though, great band.
Yeah, I know of them. I've never really listened to them.
All right,
There's a lot of those bands I've
Yeah.
kind of skipped out on.
one
Just
sec. I have to get another
stoner
beer.
bands.
But like,
Fu Manchu are awesome. Dude.
Fu
like
Manchu are sick.
seriously, man. Fucking Logan, like when we
Yo.
were jamming to them, fucking crank with the music cranked up, dude. That is such
That was
good.
awesome.
Fu Manchu are so awesome.
They from Arizona or
No,
was
they're
it
from like
Cali,
Southern
right?
Cal. Like,
Southern
yeah.
Cal? Okay.
Southern
Dude,
Cal surfer rock sludge.
The action is
like they're
go,
so
bro.
awesome.
The action
Here's
is
a little
go.
known fact.
Here,
Little
one sec.
known-
I'll be right back.
All right. I'll wait until he comes back to blow his mind. But there's a very, 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 very famous guitar player that did a solo for Fu Manchu. I think it was on their, maybe not their last album, but the one before.
Well, Brent Bjork was their drummer for the first few albums.
The Caius dude, is that the Caius dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think he played in
Queens of
Stone
the
Age.
Stone Age. Yeah, Queens, right? Yeah.
Or wait, no, Dave Grohl did drums in Queens of the Stone Age, I think. No, Brent Bjork, he's one of those Dave Grohl like bands.
Now, Brand was in he was in Caius. I don't remember whether he was.
Yeah, he was a drummer in Caius.
I think he was. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And then he started his own thing where he's singing and playing guitar, I think, and drumming. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like you said though, he's kind of a Grohl like guy. He
Yeah.
can kind of do it all.
But he started in as the drummer for Fu Manchu.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I mean Fu Manchu. It's like if you want escapism music, where it's just imagine being carefree in Venice Beach in the early '80s, just surfing and skating and partying with your friends. That's exactly what Fu Manchu is.
okay. But they're
So good.
kind of like stoner doom, right?
Yeah, like surfer, stoner, skater rock, like sludgy.
Which
Like
album's
if
that one?
sludge was pop.
Which album was that one?
Are
Ben?
we still talking about Fu Manchu? What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
which album? Which like what? How
Oh, dude,
recent is that? How
This
recent
is their
is that?
debut, bro. This is their
Oh, okay.
debut.
All right.
No one rides for free.
Yeah, that's a
So
good.
I found
Either-
this one at Lunchbox, Chris.
Jeez.
That
Couple
that's a
couple
good
bucks
one.
used. I love this one. I've been
Oh.
listening to it like since I found it.
Oh, what'd you do there? Yeah.
The one with the album cover, I can't think it. All Things Go or
Yeah,
something
with the skateboarder guy.
like like the dude riding the old school like 70s skinny board on the cover. That or California Dreamin', I think is the one. Like that was their sort of more mainstream one. That's a really good one too. Fu Manchu,
They're
has yeah, it's a really good
Dude,
one.
I swear that type of music is so underrated currently in like the era of YouTube and just metal music that we're in. I think stoner and just sludge and that kind of doom music it's not talked about enough, or if it is talked about, it's not like
Yeah.
rated highly enough. No one is talking about Fu Manchu.
Exactly.
No one.
Yeah, there's not.
No one
because
is raving about Fu Manchu.
So many. All metal streams are just focused on what's black metal. What's black metal? You know, like
That-
what's the latest black
what's-
metal? Or
What's the best year?
or
1984, 1985.
emo album or whatever converge like metalcore. Nobody ever
Oh.
talks about stoner rock or
You're talking about
or,
punk
or
rock
Sleep.
NBA for
Sleep
that-
is
for
the
that one.
only band they talk. But like
They do.
surfer rock, no one talks about surfer rock.
Well, I will tell you that a very famous guitar player played on Fu Manchu, played a
Cool.
solo on one of their on. I think it was on the album before the last one. So like 18 or 19, maybe 18.
Gigantoid, which
Sounds right.
also Gigantoid, fucking what's his shit? I've had too many beers. The
That
guitarist
happens.
from Rush.
That's what I was
Alex
trying to
White?
say for the last
Leifson,
15
Alex
minutes.
Leifson.
He
That's what I've
was-
been
he
trying
was
to
on
say
that?
for the last 10 minutes. Alex Lifeson did a solo on that album. Yeah.
No
On that album,
shit.
Gigantoid, he
Yeah.
played on
Yep.
one of the
What?
songs there.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
That
Yeah.
is crazy.
I don't really know how it happened, but I know, Porcupine Tree had Lifeson play way back in 2009. He played a solo on Anesthetize. And
Dude.
that then became, they became buddies. Neil Peart, when in 2005, when I was out in LA, and came to meet those guys with some friends of mine for dinner, Gavin was leaving. He was heading out to meet Neil Peart. And this was 2005, I guess, something like that. So the guys in PT became friends with the guys in Rush kind of through that. And I think there was some management. No, there was some people in Atlantic that knew, Rush's manager and kind of paved the road for it to happen, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of bizarre. Like when you brought up Fu Manchu,
That
I'm like,
is.
oh, Lifeson played a solo on there.
I didn't. So for Gigantoid, he did.
Was
That's
that?
crazy
Yeah,
for the album Gigantoid?
yeah. So you have to listen. Next time you listen, you have to listen. Go, oh man, that's Lifeson,
Damn.
which
Yeah.
is just crazy, man, crazy.
But
Push,
no,
what are you doing?
I think there's a certain trend or track that
Right.
a lot of channels are honing in on, which is like it's the 80s and then black metal across the board, and then that's about it. So
There's way too much fucking black metal.
right,
I
who
swear,
cares about that
there's-
much like fucking
I'm
atmospheric
so-
black metal?
Like I'm so.
I don't
tired.
give a shit.
I just bought a bunch of. I was a bad boy and I was very naughty with my checking
You
account, and I bought some I bought more music from overseas. Some of that is black metal, but I feel like it's necessary black metal.
Well,
Where it's not
what?
just like so much that it's just being manufactured by the labels, and then here it is. It's the typical black and white album cover of like the screamy makeup guy. Like I'm so tired of that.
Well, that's a lot of that lo-fi cult, blah blah blah, self-produced stuff is like that.
could-
And
You can
Yeah,
try to argue
yeah.
about what is good and what is
like,
not
good
good
God,
within that.
seriously,
I think,
like,
you
are
know?
people seriously wearing corpse paint nowadays? Like, give me
yeah,
a
they
break.
still are.
Yeah,
King Diamond. There you go.
Well, okay, no.
seriously, though.
He's not part of this. No.
Yeah.
I'm
But
talking,
he is part of it because he's the guy that kind of started a lot of it. Although,
He doesn't. He's separate from it. King Diamond can always wear it.
I mean, let's be
But
honest.
the
The guys
But,
that started were the Kiss guys.
but you
and
know
Arthur-
what? Though my favorite era of King Diamond is when he didn't wear it, and he just had his hair slicked back, and he looked like a sleazy biker. Like,
What
that
conspiracy?
Was awesome.
What album? What album? Conspiracy.
Them.
Oh, Them?
Well, no. I mean, that was early Merciful Fate too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
I like when it got into the wearing the top hat, and then now he has the fancy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna get tickets to see him, but
Oh,
back
really?
in the day when he just looked, like he had the hair slicked back and it just looked sleazy and stuff. That's when
Like
when King
Merciful Fate,
Diamond
like
was the best.
9 or in the beginning or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I've not getting into that Merciful Fate, but they're
I'm
not
not-
coming close to me at all. Chris, you're gonna go see him?
yeah, you said, yeah. Devin's already got tickets to go. I think
Does he?
I think Nick got or is getting tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I know somebody else talked about going. Who was the other person who talked about it? Was it
Shit. They're probably going to Atlanta, so I don't know.
well, no, I'm trying to think. Was it shit. I'm talking about our group of guys that get together. Somebody else talked about the fact they were gonna get tickets too. I can't remember who it was though, but yeah, I tell you, I mean, I watched quite a bit of the footage of several of the their European headlining
Yeah.
shows and a couple what was the Psycho Las Vegas
Psycho
show.
Las Vegas, yeah.
Man, they sounded fucking amazing. And like I said, I'm
Yeah.
not even a massive King fan. I can appreciate him now. I didn't like him way back when, but I can appreciate him now. But their live show is just fucking stellar, man. They got, great fucking players, Mike Weed and
Mm-hmm.
Michael Denner and then no, not Michael Denner. What's his name? Yeah, it's Denner.
Dinner, yeah.
Denner,
I
yeah.
think he's still there.
Then you got Joey Vera on bass. I'm not sure who's playing drums for them. Do I know who that is?
Let me see.
Is somebody notable? Like, who was their drummer back in the day? I think they had a bunch of different ones, didn't they?
It was not consistent.
I'm not sure who's playing drums for Mickey D. No, he's with Scorpions.
No. Which, speaking of Scorpions, let me see.
So, have you listened to the new Scorpions? Like, do you?
No, I have not listened to the Scorpions. Do you like?
I listened to a couple songs. Man, you know what? I don't know if this happens to you guys, but when you're really into a band and you love their catalog, and then suddenly they just put out a really shitty album, and you're like, all right, I'll give them this one pass. And then
How long you been
they
doing
put
that
out
for?
another shitty album, and you're like, oh man. And then when they finally put out an okay album, which this new one allegedly is, and I've only heard a couple tracks, and they didn't sound terrible. They sounded okay. You're just not as excited. You're just like, okay, whatever. And that happens a lot, I mean, to me, that's happened a lot.
Just takes
Yeah, I
away.
mean, for me, Scorpions are the type of band where I'm good with the greatest hits comp. I don't,
Well,
like.
I see that, but I mean, there is some really good Uli Roth early material that you're probably missing out on. And then, once Matthias and Michael came on board, you had Love Drive, you had Blackout, you had Animal Magnetism. There's some real good albums in there, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I like them a little better now, but I will say, haven't bought a CD since Savage Amusement and hated that album. That was the album I was like, oh, are you kidding me, dude? Like, really? This is what the best you got here? So, there's other bands like that. I'd have to give it some thought, but that's a big one for me. That was, a huge one in the early 80s. And then I delved back into the 70s. And then they did that shitty album in 83 or 80, whatever, whenever after Love at First Sting. I love that album, man. That's a great album.
Goodwill.
Yeah, that one's a classic. Like that one and Blackout are like the two classics.
Well,
but
that is
then they
Blackout.
had that one where There was the girl bowing at her knees. They had the most sexist album covers
they had the
ever.
most degenerate album covers you could ask
Well,
for.
they had that one called Virgin Killers that had
Virgin-
a naked.
Yeah, that one we're not going to talk about.
Yeah, that was
So, like the OG of that one, we're not discussing.
Love
But,
It First Thing.
They also had that one
Was-
where there was a
what
woman
was the
getting
boob
punched in the
or the-
face,
Oh,
and then there was the one of the woman on her knees, bound and gagged.
Yeah, that was Animal
Oh,
Animal
yeah.
magnetism. Animal magnetism.
Yeah.
Where she,
Animal.
and that's a killer album, man. With the exception of the kind of weak Lady Starlight and the Make It Real, that's got like oh shit, Falling in Love on it. It's got what's that really killer song? God damn it. Oh damn it.
man. Love Drive. That's when they're in the car.
That's
and
the car with the
his-
bubble gum, yeah.
His hand is melting to the tit. Like,
But Animal Magnetism has the Zoo and Animal Magnetism. Those two songs kick ass.
the zoo is
Also-
awesome.
Also, not Make It Real. That's okay. But what's it called? Oh shit. Falling in Love is great. And there's one other song that's fucking badass. I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Let me look it up real quick.
Scorpions will be a new band for me to like
They-
actually dive into because this is like the first CD I have
Yeah.
besides the greatest hits, and
That one,
it's
and then-
killer, man.
You know, like that one is good to own, and then the one of Love at First Sting. Those
Yeah,
are the two that you need, and then other than that, just get a greatest hits comp, and you're good.
Right?
To go.
yeah.
But I am
But
interested.
some people
in,
pull up
they-
like,
like,
Beyond
they-
the Rainbow or whatever.
There's an album, I think their first one, that has like this
Fly to the
weird
Rainbow. Fly to the
airplane
Rainbow.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's their second album. It's called Fly to the Rainbow.
Okay,
First album-
yeah. and
First
it's-
album's
Fly to
First
the
album's
Rainbow.
called Lonesome Crow. First album, Lonesome Crow's this fucking 60s. It's because it came out in, I think, 70, 71, 70?
Let's see. Fuck.
70, 70.
72. Lonesome Crow.
Okay.
Fly to the Rainbow. is
I'll tell you what.
74.
I'll tell you what.
Entrance, 75.
That Lonesome Crow album, not a
Yeah.
bad album, man. It's very 60s almost acid rock, and it's got a 15-year-old Michael Schenker playing lead guitar, and he's like mind blowing, man.
Wait, shit. Michael
But it's
Schenker,
weird.
man.
But the first one with Uli, which came after that, which was Fly to the Rainbow, is very hippy dippy. There's a couple good songs on it, but
Yeah.
then, man, it starts hitting up the good shit. It gets to what was the one you said?
Oh, after that one, In Trance.
In Trance, and Virgin Killer actually does.
Virgin Killer's right after that.
Yeah,
Virgin Killer has great-
Killer.
That's got some good songs on
76.
it.
Yeah.
What else?
Taken by Forces after that.
Taken by Force is killer. There's
Yeah.
one other one we're missing here. In Trance, and what's the other one? Some with an S.
Give me a sec.
Something with an S. It's
Love
right
at
around
First
In Trance.
Sting.
No.
So this is the actual order. Lonesome Crow, 72. Fly to the Rainbow, 74. In Trance, 75. Virgin Killer, 76. Taken by Force, 77. Love
Okay, I
Drive,
guess it was-
79.
Did you ever think about how so just a title called Virgin Killer, how was that ever considered acceptable? But then also
Well,
think about,
great
but
question.
then also think about like 80s
What does your cat
air
think about
rock,
that?
like Warwick had that Cherry Pie song. Like how was that ever, or Jailbait?
What about
any band
Winger?
that had, like Motorhead, that had a song called Jailbait? Like,
Well,
how
yeah.
was that ever considered acceptable?
A Winger, 17.
17, and
Christine-
then Kip
Faster-
Winger is
Faster
there, and he's
Pussycat.
singing. He was like, "She was only 17."
What
and
about-
he's just,
What about
dude,
What about Gene Simmons in 1978 when he was a 30-some-year-old man talking about Christine 16?
Right? Like, how is that ever acceptable? Like,
Wow.
I guess
Because
if you can
because
dance, then everything's good. You
the,
know,
the weird thing is,
if you look good in like a tight shirt,
well,
then
think about it
That's
this way, though. Think
the
about it
chicks
this way.
like you, dude.
Think about it this way.
That's
Back in
it.
the 60s and 70s, yes, it was just this egregious error if you or this horrible thing if you saw a woman's breast. But behind closed doors, all that shit was terribly rampant. So
oh my god, yeah.
they looked the other way a lot. I can tell you right now, there were a lot of younger girls that got raped or maybe not raped, but maybe, legit, you know, that, there was a sexual encounter with some of these young guys in their 20s when girls were in their teens, because nobody was going to dime them out. Nobody was going to go, oh,
Mhm.
he was having sex with a minor. Nobody was going to do that in 1975.
Well,
it's-
like you heard the stories about Led Zeppelin
oh
way
yeah.
back when, like with the girl with the fish,
Yep.
and I mean, those like that stuff just happened, and it was accepted, and it's kind of like, well, I guess that was the pre-internet world or something.
Well, it was the
I don't know.
yeah, it was definitely the pre-woke world. Don't get me wrong. I don't think anything like that was legitimately cool. But I mean, I'm talking
No
about
one knew about it.
I'm
really.
talking about statutory rape here. I'm talking about a girl getting fucked up and
Right? Yeah.
a bunch of older dudes taking advantage
Well,
of her,
well,
that happened.
well,
Mhm.
and then also, I mean, it's known that Ted Nugent was in a
Oh, yeah.
relationship with a
Oh, yeah.
14-year-old girl.
Yeah, yeah. He
And
claimed,
He adopted. He adopted.
yeah, he had claimed
and
there's all kind
there are
of
other
stories there.
performers too.
Didn't
I
David
mean,
Bowie do that?
from Led
Jerry Lee
Zeppelin
Lewis.
to whoever who were
Jerry Lee Lewis
David,
married
Didn't
his
David
cousin.
Bowie do that?
Bowie.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't.
I guess that was that era where it was like, okay, if there was enough cocaine, then it's erased from the history
Right.
or something.
And
Like,
that
well,
is,
there's a lot of coke going on.
yeah, man,
so-
and that is to an extent what happened, man. That is what happened. There's no doubt in my mind that happened like that, and I think that a lot of guys should be that were in their 60s, like Mick Jagger and guys like that, should probably be pretty happy that the statute of limitations is run out on all that stuff.
Well, or Iggy Pop.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Isn't it interesting though? Like,
But no, like, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
like all those people who did all that. They're safe. It's.
Hmm?
I mean, I don't know if it's deemed safe or not, but that all happened for them. But there's still like comedians and stuff from like 10, 15 years ago who are getting in
Well-
hot water for what they said. It's interesting, right?
Well,
Yeah, I don't
They're
know.
like
It's something like where, because I heard things about
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, I don't want to speculate on anything.
wait, what are we talking about? What did
And
I miss?
I don't want to talk about this topic anymore either.
All
All
right,
right,
okay.
all right, amen.
Well, I missed what you guys were what you were referencing there. I think, look, we can know that in the 70s,
Yes.
60s and 70s, shit like that was going on.
Yeah.
There were most parents were super overprotective of their children, but there were those parents that were a little more forward thinking and liberal, and they probably let some young girl. It happened. I guarantee it. It happened
Mhm.
more than once.
Yeah. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
translation, I guess. But here, real quick.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna sign off here. So,
All right, dude.
Jeff, it was good meeting you. Logan, thank
Nice
you
to meet
for
you too, buddy.
logging me in, and man, it was a good
Cheers,
chat.
man.
Let's do it again.
All right, brother. See you. We
Yeah,
won't
for
be on
sure.
much longer, I don't think.
No,
All right.
no. I got nothing else.
You got what?
I said I don't have much else. So, I mean, whatever else you want to talk about. But
No, we'll
otherwise,
hang until you finish your beer off or something like that. It's only 2:11, so it's not like.
game with that, man.
Are you done?
No, I
Oh,
got a
all
almost
right.
full beer here.
I'll
So
take your time. I'm just trying to find a way to lay that's comfortable. My side's bothering me. Yeah, I'm having a lot of abdominal pain the last couple days, like really bad. Like it's really. I'm afraid probably tomorrow I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. I really didn't want to do that, but I just think something's terribly wrong. But I was just in there 5 weeks ago, a little over 5 weeks ago, and they told me they didn't see anything wrong. And I've had two MRIs. No, not two MRIs, two CAT scans done. One in April
mhm.
and one in. No, wait. Or did I have three done? I had one done in, I think it was late April or May. No, it was late. It was late April. I'm sorry. It was late April. I had a CAT scan done on my abdomen, and then I had another one done in July because of all this swelling in the left side of my, which I contend is nerve damage. And they're, no, it doesn't do that. It's like bullshit. It doesn't. I tell you, dude, if I could sue my doctors, I'd sue every one of them because I'm
You should.
convinced. I'm convinced they kind of fucking murdered me. They'll come back and say, "Well, yeah, but you didn't go to this test and that test," and be like, "That's because I've done those tests before, and they were recently, and they didn't find anything. You guys are you're rerunning the same tests, and you're not even looking at the old, information that was there. That it shit. There's no way that I grew stomach cancer in 2 months. It's just not possible.
Is that what they're saying to you? Is
No,
that
no, no, no.
what they're
But
telling you?
no, but so when you take X-rays and CAT scans and MRIs, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that you cannot map out very well or see in the body is you can see muscles, you can see bones, you can see you know organs, you can
Yeah.
see you can see a fair amount of venous, you know
Just tissue and
the well the things that
the
make up your
veins and
your
stuff.
veins, right? You
Yeah.
can see your venous structure. But one thing you can't see is your nerves. Your nerves are kind of
No.
invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
the problem I'm having is nerve problems. And so I mean really serious, Logan. Like I'm gonna tell you straight up, dude. I'm just gonna say
Mhm.
this straight up. I don't think there's any chance I make the end of the month. I just don't think that's gonna happen. And that's, only 2.5, 3 weeks away. And I would be shocked. If I am still here, you can tell me told you so, but I don't think I'm gonna be very communicative after
So,
the
like, what are you basing this off of for sure? Because it's
well, because I have a paralyzed diaphragm in my right side,
so.
which
Are okay.
my diaphragm, that's
Yeah.
the two areas of your lower
On
section
your
of your
right
chest.
side. Yeah.
This is on the right, but you have one on your left too. But the one on my right
Mhm.
is paralyzed. It won't go up or down. That means I'm not getting the proper. And the only thing that can usually cause that is a blunt force injury, like a car accident or a
Mhm.
surgical mishap, which I haven't had any of that kind of stuff done, or a nerve problem, a nerve damage problem. And the phrenic nerve, oh, sorry, the phrenic nerve is in your lung there, and it is
Yeah.
not acting proper. They're saying they think it might happen from COVID. I think it's from this nervous system, degenerative nervous system condition. Now, I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
looked up what I'm suffering from, what I'm certain I'm suffering from, but it's called autonomic neuropathy. And autonomic meaning your autonomic nervous system, the stuff you don't
Mhm.
think about doing, like breathing, shitting, pissing, digesting,
Yeah.
swallowing,
All the
uh,
involuntary
all the
muscles.
involuntary stuff, right?
Yeah.
What's happening is all that stuff in my body is now not acting properly at all, especially
Mhm.
since about May. I noticed when I moved in here in February, I came in here under a tremendous amount of stress,
Yeah.
and there was a lot going on, and I had a lot of doctor's appointments I had to try to get through, and they were hiring, and nobody was really helping me out, my family, because they believe this is more mental than physical, and that's just so not right. It's not even ridiculous.
Mhm.
And I've got, numerous. I won't get into that. It's too long to get into, but yeah, about February when I got in here, I wasn't feeling great. Into March, I started feeling worse. Into April, I started feeling even worse. By the time I went down and had all this autonomic testing done to rule out autonomic
Mhm.
neuropathy, I got a mildly abnormal test. Well, they're like, oh, that shouldn't be making you nowhere near this as sick as you're claiming you are. And I'm like, well, I am. So what if the test just didn't go off right? What if that you missed something big? What if it wasn't
Mhm.
performed properly? What if just on the off chance that my body just was strong enough to get me through that and just fake you? Shouldn't we do it again? So, but now I'm getting insurance companies saying, well, we can't send you to Cleveland Clinic. We can't send you to Mayo Clinic because there's
Oh,
somebody in
god damn
Pennsylvania.
it.
Yeah, there's
Uh-huh.
somebody in Pennsylvania that can see you. And I'm like, no, there isn't. There isn't anyone in Pennsylvania. No, I was sent to Baltimore and they sent me now to Cleveland and you're saying no.
God
So it's
damn.
been a clusterfuck, dude. They're what I
Jesus.
what I anticipate and feel is that they're just waiting me out so that I die. And they're not gonna have too much longer to wait. I really am about as
So,
sick as I've ever been the last 2 weeks.
well,
Like
goddamn. Yeah.
you don't see me because I've been in the
No.
dark for the most part, and I stay that
Yeah.
way. If you notice, I've been more and more and more in the dark over the last several months, and it's more because I don't feel well enough to let you guys see
Mhm.
me looking really rough. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want you guys. I don't want you guys to be on a stream with me and staring at me like, God, he looks so sick. You know what I mean? Do I look like
Yeah.
a cancer patient right now? No, but I by a cancer patient I mean or an AIDS patient, like somebody that's
Yeah.
dying
I
from the
mean,
disease.
pale.
Yeah, well,
Like
pale,
you have
skinny, skin
the
and
ghost
bones.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah, looking, like the skin looking dead and gray.
Mhm.
My eyes look terrible. My skin does not look great. My muscles, I'm losing a lot of muscle tone, muscle, mass. I have my belly on the left side of my belly is super swollen from
Mm.
what I think are now dying nerves that are almost dead. And they would be the two real important ones. One would be your phrenic, which helps you breathe, and the other big one would be your vagus nerve, which helps your heart rate maintain the right speed and tempo, and what do they call that? Uh,
The cardiac rhythm. I don't know, like
the heart rhythm, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, Logan. I think things are really not looking real good, and I think they're gonna happen real fast, like over the next several days. Like it would not shock me at all if tomorrow, if I wake up, because I don't always know. Like when I go to sleep at night, some nights when my breathing slows
Yeah.
down, and
One of the
I
sleeping
feel like,
stuff.
yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna breathe again. It's
Mhm.
scary as fuck, dude. But I am pretty certain that over the next 7 to 10 days, something pretty massive is going to happen. Either a heart attack or a stroke, because those are two of the major killers with this disease. If you have a minute tomorrow, if you think of it, or maybe I'll send you a text. Then
Yeah. Let me
uh,
know, man.
it's called autonomic neuropathy, and that'll
Mhm.
give you a. It'll give you a. It's very rare. It only strikes about 3 to 4 thousand people a year in the U.S. Okay, so maybe
Mhm.
across the globe, a couple,
What,
maybe
10, 20?
20, maybe yeah, very unusual. Not like heart disease or cancer or diabetes, shit like that, you know. And so it's super rare, and they really don't know what. Most doctors just don't know what they're looking at. They just have no clue what they're looking at, and
So it's too
so
late for the patient, right? I mean, like
right.
even if they do recognize it, like is it like an Alzheimer's? Like what are we talking about? Is it like a
Is Alzheimer's?
well, like what can you do to help prevent it? Like if you
Nothing.
recognize that, oh, this
Nothing.
is
Nope.
you know
This is like
automatic.
ALS, dude. It's a
Mm.
death sentence. Yeah, it's a death sentence. And I'm coming right back. I just wanted to look at one quick thing.
No, you're good, man.
Just bear
Yeah.
with me for one moment.
You're fine. It's I don't know, Jeff. What you're going through is I mean, it's awful. There's no way, it's in the terminal like that.
Hold on. Shit. Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah. What's up? Are
Okay,
you there?
sorry. Yeah, it's cruel, man. It's
I mean,
it's
it is.
terrible. It's fucking awful. My kids are gonna be burying me in a couple weeks or a month or two. Not burying me because I'm getting fried, but
Mm.
yeah, I mean, the fact that at 56 I'm thinking about shit like that's unreal. But
And
you know,
that's what I mean. That's just the thought process of thinking about that. Like so I work in senior living, which I think I do.
yeah,
In memory care specifically. So I work with dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that.
right. So you see people failing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
I see
And
the
that's
whole
tough.
the whole
That's tough to
process.
watch.
I walk with them through the whole process of it.
And that's
You
tough,
know?
man. I mean, but yet most of them are in their 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yes,
And
yes,
that's,
they are.
by that time,
They're on 56.
yeah, by that time a lot of people they're tired. Some people want to go, they're tired and they're
They
ready
do,
to go. Other
and you
people
can
are,
you can tell
and
in a
I
passing.
bet. Yeah. And the biggest thing is, dude, like if you have your physical health, even if your mental health is like, say you get dementia, which is
Mhm.
terrible. It's really tough to watch. But if you're physically healthy, you can live that way for quite a while.
Yes, and
Whereas,
I've had residents for not personally, but I just know that they've lived with dementia actively for like 20 years.
right
Just
now, that's not the best for the patient and for the families because there becomes this weird digression and like breaking down of the family unit, which kind of happens to a degree. But you know dude, if I was 76 right now, I wouldn't be crying at all. Even if I was 66, I'd still feel like, all right, I got
Mhm.
probably 80% of my life in, 75. Yeah, would I like to have 100%? Sure. Um, but at 56, man, I'm only looking at about getting, where did I see that? I saw an
Like
actuarial thing.
70, like
I think now if I die at 56, which is what it would be if I died this year, before next March. The I'm only getting about 57 or 58% of my life, and maybe it was 62,
really
63. I can't remember. But that's not nearly enough.
no.
Because
So
if I was some miserable dude that hated life and fucking hated everyone around me and everyone should just die and I hate, that would, then maybe I shouldn't be around anymore. But generally speaking, I'm a guy that's always really loved life for the most part. And
mhm.
the sad thing is, the last 6 or 8 or 10 months, I've really not loved life because I've not felt well. And I'm not feeling well and I'm not getting any answers. And I've been trying to get answers for, you know,
Long
3
time.
years.
Yeah.
Three
Like
years.
Jeff, you gotta understand. Like I feel because I've been following streams and stuff for a little bit, so I like you've been pushing for a little bit. I feel like
I've been what?
you've been pushing and continuing on,
Yeah, I have.
persevering and pushing
Yeah.
forward
Yep.
for a bit. Like I've
Yep.
seen because I know you've been going through this for a couple years now, and I've definitely
Yep.
been following these streams for at least since like I was definitely like in the wings during some of the you know
Yeah, I was. I mean,
early Marty streams and the Rick
right.
streams and
But
stuff.
I didn't really start to feel
Yeah,
really ill until last summer.
really.
Like it was like April or May of last year. I was like, why am I not feeling better? Why am I feeling weaker and tighter? And why am I having all this strange feeling like I can't keep my eyes open at times? And then I
Mhm.
go to fall asleep and I jolt awake because my brain feels like it's having sort of a seizure. And I went and had so many tests done, dude. You wouldn't even believe it if I told you. And unfortunately, by the time we got to this year, I think COVID had a big part role in me really going downhill fast. I think it really, had I not gotten COVID last year, I maybe could have managed to get another 6 months to a year out. But the truth of the matter is, Logan, that this is a disease that generally between 6 and 9 years kills people. And I am pretty certain, I
Mhm.
would pretty much bet my bottom dollar on it that I've had this since 2013, which means I'm pushing 10 years. Which that's the first time I recognized I was not feeling normal, like my normal self, was
Yeah.
in 2013 into 2014. I was going through a lot. I lost a really killer job, like an $80,000 a year job.
Hmm.
I lost the woman of my dreams. Like I was so in love with this woman and thought she was so in love with me. And then when my health started to slide and I couldn't get answers, she just suddenly bolted on me, more or less. And after a few months of trying to get answers, she just like, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. It's like, do what? Love somebody that is sick and trying to get help. Okay, thanks. So that broke my heart. And then I went back to drinking, and I hadn't been drinking for 14 years. And I went back to drinking again, and
Hmm.
right away, dude, like within shit, couple months of rekindling my drinking. This is 2014,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
almost 8 years ago. Rekindling my drinking, I got a DUI, and I wrecked my car, and it was just thankfully nobody was hurt, nobody was in the other car. I hit
Hmm.
a parked car, but my life just suddenly started to really spin out of control. She and I were done. My mom has always been a difficult issue with me, my mom and I.
Hmm.
Right now, I told her back on September, I'm sorry, on August 31st, I sent her a long ass text outlining what was going on and what I felt needed to be done. I said, please, mom, digest this and please get back to me. I haven't heard a word since then. That's what's today, the 8th?
Yeah. 8th of October.
38 days since I've heard from my mom.
Hmm.
Not even, so a little over 7 weeks. No, 5 weeks. So
Yeah.
she's basically just ignored me. And because she thinks that this is all in my head, and there's no way. No way.
No.
And I feel bad because in a couple days, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after that, or 2 or 3 days from now, I may call her and say, you need to take me to the hospital and you need to help me get my power of attorney squared away. And she's going to go, why didn't you do anything about this sooner? And I'll say, I tried to get you to help me 5 weeks ago, and I just got sicker and sicker and sicker. And nobody, what were you going to do? If I reached out to you, we're going to just jump to my aid? No, you weren't. So I feel very bitter right now because a lot of people in my family have not treated me well, including, I don't want to say including my kids, but it kind of is my kids to a degree. They're
Mhm.
kind of listening to their grandmother a little bit, and she's twisting their belief systems a little bit, and that's really troubling. And then I live with my dad, who's quite frankly oblivious to everything. You know, he's
Yeah,
lives in his own little world, Trump world, and his own little Penn State world, and his own little. I'll
I
just
believe
look at my porn on my little Chromebook at night, and even though
it.
he's too old to do anything.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's been a bitch, dude. It's been a bitch. So
Jeff, man,
I know it blows.
I'm sorry, man. That's
Well, just promise me one thing: if I die soon, you guys will have a rager of a
well,
stream where you get everybody together and you
whatever
guys
you need, man. You
talk
know.
all kind of shit about me. Good shit though, fun shit.
Good shit.
Yeah, man.
So, is Devin allowed, or is that no?
What's that?
Is Devin allowed?
No, Devin can fuck himself. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where he went to, man. He didn't even have the decency to fuck.
fucking, fucking Devin. Hey, Jeff, you there?
Hang on.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I was looking to see what time I sent that message to him. It was an hour and a half ago. He never even wrote me back and said, "Yeah, I'm not coming," or "Yeah, I'm not interested." He does
It's
this, man. He does this
it's
shit.
fine. I
Well,
know.
he wanted, he does this kind of stuff though. He'll bugging me about doing it in the slave dive, deep dive, and then he bails out on the second part and doesn't want to do it. Bugged me to do the Bathory thing, and then I swear I thought he was going to bug out on the second part of that. And then I said to him, "Hey, do you want to do Atheist quick before I call it a day on everything?" Nah, I'm not really that into him. I'm like, well, what the fuck? You're the one that I swear you brought them up. No, you asked me if I liked them. I said I like unquestionable. What's it called? Piece of Time. And I'm like, yeah, but you seemed like you wanted to do it. Yeah, I did, but I don't want it anymore. I'm like, all right, man. That's I'm like, I'm not gonna ask you anymore. So,
Dude,
but I asked him to do like streams and stuff, and then he does this kind of shit where it's like he plays this game. But anyway, I love the
which is
kid.
fine. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's good. He's a good kid. He's been a good friend through all this. Probably one of my better friends, honestly, because he's been available. And
so
even though he's a younger kid, I mean, he's kind of like my. See, do you know about my son?
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
So, that's been a tough one for me because I feel like I've kind of lost a child. Not lost a child, but I lost a male child, right?
mm-hmm.
And so that's been a weird deal. And so I guess Devin's kind of been my kid in a weird sort of way. One that I call a dickhead and a loser and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But it's all meant in a good
Project
way.
all the good stuff
Oh yeah.
onto him.
Exactly, yeah. So but
Yeah,
anyway, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you setting up this thing tonight. It's cool that you
yeah,
did it.
man. It's
You
been good.
missed me. You literally missed me by like 3 minutes. Like
I,
I got
I
that
think I
message.
literally think I did. I'm so sorry.
No, you
Like
did. I know you
it was
did.
a
Because
crazy night getting
yeah,
back.
I got off the stream and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna hang out anymore. Nobody's coming. And because Chuck didn't get back to me, although he did later.
Mm,
Didn't hear anything from Jimmy, didn't hear anything from Jake, didn't hear anything from Rick. So I ended up, I was hoping
yeah,
you'd show so we could at least hang for a
yeah.
little bit until maybe Nick got in and whatever. And then you didn't show. I'm like, fuck it, I'm out of here. And literally like 2 minutes after you did that, I got your text. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well, but
Dude,
I was getting low on hours. I was only going to be able to go till like about 5 of 1, 10 of 1.
mhm.
So it was good thing you were cool with doing it because you have 20 hours a month you can use. And you only use
Okay.
3 and 15 or so when we wrap up here shortly. So I appreciate you doing that, man. Did
Yeah,
anybody
no,
come? Did
it's
anybody watch it all? I guess
good.
with only 20 subs, I guess nobody really.
No, probably not. I don't think so.
Did you
But it
notice
was.
anybody? Did you notice anybody watching?
It said one person popped in.
That was probably
Um,
Devin.
it might have been someone. There was one next to the eye over here, but other than that, no. So, but still, it was for me. This is like a learning experience and just figuring out how to use it because I
Pretty simple.
literally, yeah,
You nailed it. You nailed it
pretty
pretty
easy.
good. Yeah.
Like, because Chris and I, we've been talking about it for a bit, and we were trying to do like a stream on Thursday. And then apparently you have to give YouTube like a 24 hours heads up before you start streaming or something.
No, because you didn't do it tonight.
No, I tried to start on Thursday and I wasn't able to. So tonight was fine, thankfully.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh
Yeah.
wait a minute. Well, if you go in and you want to set up, no, I've been able, dude. Last night or tonight, I
No,
start.
no,
Wait.
for like a new like your first, like a
Oh.
channel's first. You
Oh,
know?
I didn't. I don't know if that's the case. That might be. I don't know.
Yeah, for at least for StreamYard, like with
Yeah.
with that app, I guess. But I don't know. It worked out. It worked out for sure. And
Cool.
now I'm feeling more experienced and
Yeah. Now you know how to do it, and you got
yeah.
to see my awesome pussycat. Where is he at? Where?
Yeah, what's he?
Let's
I
go.
just saw him pop up there for for a
Ooh,
second.
yeah. Where are you?
There he is. What's up, buddy?
Ooh, look there. Oh, there he is. You can see his eyes.
Oh
See
yeah,
his nose. See, he's got the little Fu Manchu.
he does. He does. I have a girl cat named Daisy who has the little Fu Manchu
Oh, nice.
thing going
Yeah,
on.
he's
Yeah, she's
he's
cute.
about. I guess he's about 12 now. He quick funny story about that.
Yeah.
So my daughter and my bio daughter and my son at the time, and my fiance and her two kids, son and daughter, younger. We
Mhm.
went to the beach in June of 2012, and I hadn't been to the beach in forever. I like the beach, but I don't like the beach, but I liked it better as I got older. But anyway,
Mhm.
we go down, and I get this call from my ex-wife, and she's like, "Hey, where's Maddie?" And I'm like, "She's down the beach." Where she's like, "Well, don't tell her, but Emily died," and that was our cat that we had for like 19 years when the kids were little.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so it was pretty devastating for Maddie when I told her what was going on, because I had to tell her when we were heading home. And
Mhm.
so we got home, and we I didn't have any animals at this point. And so I get a call from my daughter a couple days later, and she's like, "Dad, I need a big favor, Dad." I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "Well, would you go to PetSmart and get me hang on one second. And get me and not get me, adopt this cat for me, and then give it to us after you've adopted it." I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I can do that. Can I do that?" And I'm like, "If I can do that, sure." I'm like, "Why isn't your mom getting it though?" And she's like, "Well, they wouldn't let us adopt the cat because we didn't take Emily to a couple doctor's appointments, but she was always staying home, and there were no other cats, and blah 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 blah." Anyways, so
Mm.
they were holding my ex kind of hostage over her non-compliance with going
On
to
that.
the vet every single
Yeah.
time, which is, if with cats and vets are fucking stupid expensive.
It is. It's outrageous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Agree. Mm-hmm.
You're better off getting cancer yourself. You might be able to pay for that. So
Yep.
I go
Send
in
cat in
and
for chemo.
I go into the PetSmart. I walk in, and Maddie points the cat out to me, and this cat right away, man, he just comes over to me and starts loving on me like you've never seen, man. He's rubbing up against me. He's giving me fucking
Rap
whisker, grab ass in the whole 9 yards.
Oh yeah.
He's just lover boy, right? You your lover boy? Hey, look here, right? Right? You lover boy? You your lover boy, food? What you doing, boys? Here, I want to see if I'll do it. Hang on. Hey, buddy. Come on.
Look, I see him right there. Oh, he did the head bop.
Nah, he didn't. He didn't headbutt me. He'll usually
Oh,
rub his. He'll usually run his snout up along my nose. He'll go run his snout either. He'll do either side. It's so funny. And then he'll usually lick my nose or something like that if I let him. But so I was like, wow, this cat's unreal. This cat's like the coolest cat ever. Get him home. He's sleeping with me. He's just super badass
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
He's like the coolest cat. And about 2 weeks later, my daughter comes over to visit, and she's like, "You're not gonna give him to me, are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I will. I'll get." She's like, "No." Now in the interim, they'd gotten another cat, and
Oh, yeah.
I forget what the story was there. I can't remember how it went down, but they ended up getting a cat, and I was gonna hang on to my foo a couple weeks longer. And by the time we got to the end of those couple weeks, I'm like, Maddie, I don't know if I can bring him over. I'm like, I'm sorry. I love this cat. He's like the coolest cat ever. And she's like, I know. And she's like, no, I want you to have him. Right, Phil? Right? Right? You came with dad, right? You hung out with dad, right? What's this? So yeah, we have our little voices we talk to him in, and
Yeah.
all that fun little stuff. But my daughter forgave me for not giving him to her.
Yeah, I have a cat here named Daisy that I was originally it was the cat of a Alzheimer's resident where and she was not able to take care of him anymore, take care of her anymore, and she was kind of unintentionally abusing her.
Oh,
Like she was trying to feed her like oatmeal and like popsicle sticks and stuff. Like
oh man.
there was like stories that like the resident care, like CNAs would tell like us management staff of what she was doing to this poor cat, and it was basically like just kind of choking her and trying to force feed her stuff. And
Right.
yeah, so I
Took her in.
took her in, and initially to give her to my girlfriend's brother and his now wife, but as soon as she came in, it was over.
I bet, yeah.
That was my cat. She was in, I guess, our cat now, but
See now, see if hold on. Look here. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah,
see?
what? There he goes. He's kind of giving it half effort. He's got. I can
I
tell.
saw a bit.
He's like.
Saw a half performance.
I mean, let's be honest. That's the only pee I'm getting these days. So I gotta.
Get where you can, right?
I get what I can. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, you should probably call tonight. You almost done?
Basically,
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang you on.
You're good, man.
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble with your girlfriend, man.
Nah, she's probably already asleep. It's all right.
Probably crashed. Probably like, where the fuck are you at? What's your girlfriend's name?
Celeste.
Celeste.
Yeah.
Is she your age?
Celeste Pizza. 3 years younger. I'm 29. She's 26. Gonna be 27 in January. So
How'd you meet her?
we were both lifeguards actually at the
Oh wow,
local YMCA in Raleigh.
sweet.
So,
So you've been dating for a long time, or what?
yeah. 8 years.
Damn, bro.
So
You live together?
yeah.
Oh,
It's been one of those, like, just one of these where it's like we for sure dated and then lived together, and then there was a little period where we broke up for a little bit and then got back together, and we're separate, living separately, and now we're living back together again. So
oh wow,
yeah.
that's pretty. That's pretty interesting. Like arc there. I mean, with my mom's, I've been in a handful of serious relationships, but I've only really been like I had one girlfriend in high school that was kind of came
Mhm.
towards the end of high school, and then after that I didn't date a whole lot. I dated a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then I met my ex-wife in 87. So I was just out of school. I got out in 84, so it was maybe 3 years later. I was 20, I think I was 21, and she was older than me. She was 24. And
Okay, yeah.
yeah. And she was pretty worldly because she'd gone away to school, and she was a bit of a party girl at college, I found out later.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, we had, it's funny shit, like when we got, we, we met one night, like indirectly at a club here, like a nightclub with, that
Mhm.
had live bands and bar. And, I, I saw her with an old school friend of mine. It was my age. And I said, "Hey, who's your friend?" And, "Oh, that's Carrie. You should ask her out. You guys would be great together." I'm like, "All right, let me drink a few more beers and get more courage up, and then I'll do it." And by the end of the night, I was heading towards her, and Jody came and grabbed me and cut me off. She's like, "Don't do it tonight. Not tonight." I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Well, she's still fucking around with this guy, Steve, and I think she's sick of him and blah, 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 blah." I'm like, "Okay, never mind. She's not, no, I'll introduce you, I swear, soon." Flash forward 3 months later, I kind of forget about her and kind of like, yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And my buddy and I went to see Metallica at the City Island with the Cult opening, actually, on the And Justice
Mhm.
for All tour. And we came down after the show to get a beer. And it was late, man. It was probably like 12:30, quarter to one.
Mhm.
And I walk in and we're standing at the edge of the bar, and Jody and my ex now, Carrie, walk in. And they walk up and they're talking, and Jody and I are talking, and my buddy Eric's talking to Carrie, and I'm like looking out of the side of my eye, "You fucking asshole,"
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, and he knew who she was, and I'm like, "What? I can't fucking believe this asshole's hitting on her." And he wasn't hitting on her, but he was just being super chummy.
Mhm.
So they walk away, and I'm like, and they finally introduce Carrie and I, Jody does, and or no, wait, no, they didn't. She didn't. They walk away, and I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Relax, man. I'm not moving in on her." I'm like, "You better not be, dude." And so a few seconds later, minutes later, Jody walks up to me. She's like, "You're never gonna believe what Carrie just asked me." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "She asked me who the super hot guy was that I was talking to, meaning me." I'm like, "Man,
Ah.
she's blind then. Is that the deal?" "Okay, got it." And so, long story short, she brings Carrie over and starts introducing her to her. Next
Yeah.
thing I know, dude, I end up like going home with her, but we didn't sleep together.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
we,
it's the first night, kind of.
yeah, we were. I'm trying to remember how that worked out. I think we made out and got
Yeah.
close, but we didn't actually have sex. And I'm like, pig in shit the next day, thinking she's never gonna talk to me after tonight. And next day, get a call from her. I'm like, whoa. Get a call from Jody. I'm like, whoa, you're never gonna believe this. So we end up moving in together pretty quick. I'm gonna say within 5 months, we get an apartment. We're moving in over at her mom's,
Mm.
and I find a picture of her naked, laying on the floor, and I'm like, "What the what?" And this is in
Invitation? What
well,
was that?
this is back in 1987. So keep in
Holy
mind, it
shit.
wasn't digital, right? It was a
Oh, yeah.
photograph. I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And she's like, "Oh, a guy I dated in college took that picture." I'm like, "Oh, well, so you were fucking him right after that, right?" And she's like, "I don't know exactly. Maybe. I told you weren't the first guy I ever slept with." I'm like, "Yeah." And it was just like there was a lot of stress about this, and I was like, you know,
Mm.
letting myself get more upset than I should. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but the weird thing was, dude, we moved into this place, and somebody calls us on our phone, and it's the old boyfriend.
Oh,
And I'm
supposed.
like, wait a minute, how the hell? She swears up and down that she never called him, never talked to him. But I'm like, how did that guy know to call the day after I found a picture of you naked that he took? How'd that happen?
Why did he
Uh,
call? What was the?
well, he how'd that work out? He claims he got our number from Carrie's mom. And I'm like, you know, who are you? And I recognized the name. And I was like, oh, what do you want, dude? Well, I heard that Carrie was uh, moving out on her own for the first time. And I was wanting to congratulate her. I'm like, dude, she's moving in with me, her boyfriend, bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe you were a roommate. I'm like, well, I am, but I'm also a roommate who's fucking her. So how's that grab you? Sorry, man. And then I called her at work. I'm like, why is this guy calling you? What's going on here? What are you not telling me? I guess somewhere along the line, his sister had found her number or something and called her
Mm.
a couple, maybe like a month or two before we started going out, and said, oh, she's single, but she wasn't single by then when he called. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a trip, dude. It was fucking bizarro.
Mm.
Good times, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
Bro,
times.
you never know, and it's like the current era with fucking multiple different uh social medias and stuff. It's
Well, yeah, and you know, you
tr-
got cell phones, and you got Snapchat, and you got.
yep.
It's hard. It's hard to trust people, man. It's
There's
hard.
trust is the singular most important thing
Yep,
in a
100%.
relationship. Like
Yep, I
if you
agree.
don't have that, you don't have anything. It's
Well, no, you're just going to be in misery the whole entire time, and you're going to be getting into
that's so I
those
mean it's
games.
worse.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been single for quite a while now, like since 15, and you know, when she and I broke up, it broke my heart, man. It just devastated me, and it
I'm sorry.
took me a long time to come back from that. You know, a better part of a year, and you know, when I finally started, I met a friend of mine who it turns out was married, but was telling me she was unhappily married and wanted out of the marriage, and blah 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 blah. And then when push got to shove, it didn't quite go that way, and you know,
Mm.
we were found out, and it's the only time I ever did that. But I was not doing it under the, you know, auspices of, you know,
She
trusting her.
was leading you.
She was leaving. There was some misleading
Yeah,
going on. Yeah.
yeah. She was
So
leading you on into something else that
little
you
bit, little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So and so that was very unpleasant because we got caught. And when I thought like a month before she was claiming she was going to leave, and then she didn't leave. And
Mhm.
6 months went by, and I was like, okay, so you're not leaving. So, and then it was, yes, I want to, but you didn't give me enough time to prepare. And it was just, you know, it just was getting kind of difficult to ride along with what excuse was
Of the
the one
day.
of the day. Yeah, the one
Yeah.
of the day at that point. So she's a good woman, but I think she just was very confused about what she wanted to do.
Mhm.
Hey, dude,
My
I'm gonna let you
wrapped
go,
up.
man.
All right, man.
You look like you need to get some sleep, and I think I'm gonna try to crash here shortly.
Jeff's been great talking to you, man.
All right,
I
brother.
appreciate you hopping on to random channel and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for
No,
always
I'm
reaching
glad
out
I did. It
and
was nice. It was cool meeting your friend
asking.
Chris.
Yeah, man.
We had Nick for a little while, so it wasn't a bad little stream.
No, it was solid. I
And maybe some
appreciate it.
people find it on your channel and start, you know, watching.
Hey, amen to that. cheers, and
All right, bro.
see you around.
See you, man.
Peace.